Absolutely.
Stone Roses on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant.
Hello there.
And Karl Pilkington for the last time,
Indeed.
I'm afraid.
Yes.
So, you know, we're gonna have a little bit of a chat. We're sewing up some things with Karl.
Indeed.
We're giving away that prize, that BAFTA bag, and, you know.
Playing some great music.
And we're just, I mean, I'm bringing in my favourite tunes. I'm bringing the Smiths, Radiohead, Cat Stevens, David Bowie, Neil Young, the classics. Steve's doing the same.
Indeed.
Well, Karl, the last time for, apparently, someone's got it a bit wrong. We're not actually away for 6 weeks. We're away for about, we'll be back in, August, won't we?
Bloody hell.
Yeah. No, don't swear.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
On the last show, you have to say that.
Already brought the tone down.
Yeah.
Cheapened it.
And I think it's blasphemous as well.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, hell isn't, is it?
Isn't it?
No, I don't think that's not blasphemy, is it?
Taking hell's name in vain?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what was it you were saying the other week about the Queen Mum used to have the right mouth on her?
What?
I don't think we said that on air, Karl.
What?
No, but last week, you were saying about that bad language, and I was saying, you know, there'll come a time when bad language isn't, you know, doesn't matter anymore. You can F and Jeff and stuff.
Oh, I know what he's talking about, Steve.
Really?
Right, let me explain to you, the listener at home. Karl was worried about swearing, and as a joke, off air, it was last week, we were saying that, in the 1940s and 50s, the Queen Mum used to say things like, and we were quoting things she'd said, like, but putting F's and C's in there, and you believed us.
Oh, so this whole week you've believed that we somehow had knowledge that the Queen Mum used to swear like a trooper?
We were doing fake quotes from her, in her voice, but putting in F's and C's, and you believed us. I mean, I didn't even think, I thought you were going along with a joke, but it obviously made an impact.
Karl, we've said this, you've got to question and query everything. You can't take things at face value, certainly not if they come out of the mouths of Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, sorry about that, Karl, it was a little trick.
Is there any other things now that, as you look back over this
said that
time
you've been
we've
thinking about that I can tell you now that was a lie?
Anything you've maybe queried or questioned, you know, you've thought, oh, that doesn't seem right, that maybe Ricky's told you?
Something might come to me later on, but...
Okay. Well, what about, Karl, I mean, we love you, right, obviously, we know that, we've got great affection for you, we look forward to this, I'm gonna miss you, really, and I'll tell you what, you've got a heart of gold. Now, wait till you see what the record is, Steve, and you'll see what I've done.
Is it heart of gold?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Alright, that's why he's a bronze award winner at the Sonys.
I don't get up for bronze. I don't get out of bed for bronze.
No, that's a waste of our time.
Karl Pilkington over there on XFM 104.9, winner of a bronze award
at the Sonys Radio Awards.
The Radio Oscars. So Phil Jupiter said. That's what he called them on Liquid News.
I'll tell you this, Rick, I'm not used to being on a table with losers at an award ceremony.
No, I'm glad, I didn't want to come in to do the final show.
No.
You know, I went straight over and sat with Pete and Jeff, didn't I?
Yeah. I went over
Radio
to
4, I went over with Paul Gambaccini.
I went over to BBC World Service.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot funkier. A lot cooler.
Won an award.
Yeah, they swept the boards.
Yeah. Bronze is nowhere.
What was the mood, what was the mood here?
Silver's, what was the mood here?
The mood,
Because the day after, because people were, I mean, let me tell you that, I think XFM deserved an award, and I thought it was criminal, actually.
But what I did like, that we certainly had the room, because Pete and Jeff said good luck to us and Christian, that was really nice. And then someone else mentioned it,
James Nesbitt.
James Nesbitt said, XFM and stuff, so it certainly had the...
Gambaccini said something about it.
Yeah,
Did
so
it certainly,
it certainly had the room. And for a local, you've got to realise it's a local radio station, you know, and, you can't compete really with Radio 2 and Radio 4 and...
But what was the mood, the day after, here at XFM?
It was alright. I mean, I think we expected a few more, but...
you shouldn't take these things seriously anyway.
No, but what I didn't
never
realise,
take
Rick,
awards seriously.
But what I didn't realise is you have to pay thousands of pounds just to nominate. Just to get into the running for an award. So, you've already, you know, they've squandered thousands of pounds.
No, it's not thousands, is it?
Well, it mounts up because you pay to enter.
And then the table.
You've got to buy, like, mini-discs and that to send your stuff in on.
Sure.
With Sony mini-discs.
Oh, I see what you're saying, Karl.
I'm not saying anything.
No.
And also then you've got to pay for the table.
Right.
And the food and the drink. I mean, it's a few grand.
I swore on live television as well that night. Yeah. But I've never done that before. I mean, I've sworn before, but never accidentally. And we were being interviewed for, and Christian was sort of like, quite, you know, being a bit boisterous, and he must have brought out the worst in me, and I just accidentally said the F word, and I apologised straight away. I didn't want to embarrass Phil Dupas. He was doing a good
job. He does
job
that himself, yeah.
but I was thinking about yesterday, and you're saying a bronze isn't worth having, right?
Yeah.
But, say like...
We're only joking, none of them are worth having, but they're very nice. They're very nice to win.
No, bronze is pointless.
But you say that, because, like, bronze is, like, coming last, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the name of the person who won the marathon this year? No?
Yeah, but that's because we're not sporty.
Well,
I'm sure there's lots that can.
But then, the guy who came last, who was in the swimsuit, people remember him. And
no, I don't remember his name either.
No, what's his name?
No, but he was 6 days late. I mean, he was really
Yeah, but
bad.
what's his name then?
You see, no one's remembering either.
No, but if someone said who won the marathon, I'd go, I don't know, but there was that guy in the swimsuit.
Well, I'd say I don't know, it was a woman.
Yeah.
She had shorts on and trainers.
I'm just trying to make
My point is, what they will remember is that we were losers. That's what they remember. They may not remember our names.
Yeah.
They'll just point and shout losers.
We're all winners, though, aren't we? We're all winners, really.
For taking part, sure.
Yeah.
And it's all subjective as well, isn't it?
Go on.
I mean, I'm not going to moan about awards, because you've won a lot of them. It's like saying they don't mean jack. But at the end of the day, right, there's some shows that won awards, and you go, yeah, that's, you know, that's worth an award.
I think you've got to treat it... I mean, some awards actually boost your profile or career or your cachet or everything like that. Some it's just a nice night out and it's nice to win, but I don't think you should really take any award that seriously.
What worries me, though, Rick, as I mentioned on the night, is that when I was at school, I mean, you look at me now, you probably think he's an athletic kind of guy, he's a sporty dude, you know, but at school, bizarrely, that was not the case.
No? What, were you a bit of a lanky beanbag?
It turns out.
You're joking?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
So, I got a silver, in the high jump.
Yeah.
And I've done better in the high jump, right? Did no training whatsoever, did no practice, just turned up.
You were 2.5 foot taller than every other person in your class.
Yeah, but wait a minute, people think that if you're tall, that makes you easier, it makes it easier for you to do the high jump. Surely not, because I've got all that leg to get over the pole. That makes it harder for me, surely.
Don't talk rubbish.
What are you talking about?
Well, of course the taller you are, the more chance you got at the high jump.
Well, explain that to me.
Oh, what? Are you... Okay, then. So, is it harder for a 6-foot man to step over a matchbox or a baby midget?
A baby midget? That is tiny, Rick.
Hang on. Here's something I've learned, remember?
Go on.
Back to, like, show 4 or whatever.
Go on.
What is it?
Show 4?
The flea can jump over the London Eye?
No! No, it can jump the equivalent of, if it was a 6-foot man, it can jump about 6 inches high. A flea cannot jump over the London Eye.
Yes, it can. Yeah, it can.
And
Tell your kids that.
God. Oh,
remember.
Oh, a flea can jump over the London Eye. And an ant can lift 3 Volvos.
But you're talking about fitness people and that. Remember when we were in the pub, right?
Yeah.
And your mate Johnny was in there.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And he was talking about that guy who got done, right? Because he entered a wheelchair race.
Yeah.
And there was nothing wrong with him. His legs were alright.
Yeah.
Now, he got done because he shouldn't have been involved in it.
Yeah.
But don't you think that really, he's really good for doing that, because he's not normally in a wheelchair.
Sure.
So he's not used to how they move about.
Yeah.
His arms aren't as strong as the other fellas who are always in the wheelchair.
Sure. He had his mate pushing him, that was the problem.
It was motorised.
I'd give him a gold plus. You know, you're taking a bloke who's not used to doing something. He does it the first time and beats the people who are at it.
What about that woman, though, that was disqualified in the shooting, because she was in a wheelchair, and she was just in the normal, able-bodied Olympics, it was just she entered, right? But she wasn't allowed to rest her elbow on the arm of her chair, because that was a disadvantage. She was in a wheelchair, and she's shooting, but she was getting an unfair advantage, and they said, you cannot put your elbow on the arm of your
Sneaky,
wheelchair.
aren't they? No, they are. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
Do you want to play
Some of them aren't even disabled, it turns out.
Hold on, though. We're talking about athletes, aren't we? What record should we play next?
I'd love to hear that single that was out a couple of months back by Athlete. Let's have Athlete. Man alive. West Side by Athlete, a track that I know you and I have enjoyed.
Yeah, it's one of our favourite new tracks of the year, that one. Yeah,
absolutely.
Very good. More of our favourite tracks to come on XFM 104.9.
You know,
me, Ricky Gervais, and you,
Steve Merchant,
and
Karl Pilkington.
Sure, go on.
You know, I was mentioning the high jump. High jump. Do you know the reason I didn't get the gold? It's faintly embarrassing, because the guy it was just neck and neck, me and another guy. In fact, he was slightly shorter than I was. And I was using the traditional Fosby flop. Is it the Fosby flop?
Fosby flop.
And he was using a method, which I can only describe as the Superman, where he was running at the bar and diving headfirst over it. I've never seen this technique before.
It's illegal, that's
absolutely incredible. Is it not allowed?
the fuzzy wire only works because his shoulder and are going over before his head.
Right.
That's they got around the wall. You weren't allowed to dive over because it was
obviously no one monitoring that.
Yeah, no.
Just the games teachers having a quick fag.
Yeah, yeah. What was his name again?
The
fag.
I think his name was Mr. Woodbine. But he anyway, so he's using this method, right? And it gets neck and neck, and I don't know how many chances you get to knock down the bar, but anyway, it got to the point where basically I had to get over the bar, or I was going to come second.
Sure.
And I decided at that point to use his method. Because he'd seemed to be doing so well with it, I thought, well, I'll try that then. That looks easy.
Oh, dear.
And ran at the bar, launched, didn't actually get my feet off the ground, just hit the bar like I was someone finishing a race, you know.
Did you have...
It's so pathetic, just clattered everywhere.
I just want to get this picture of you at the age of, what, 15, 16?
Yeah.
6'5" already, probably?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Probably, what, about 9 stone?
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you have your glasses on?
Of course I did.
You must have looked pretty sexy.
Probably a small bum fluff tash.
Yeah. Yeah,
as well.
That must have been good. Was it true once, when you were about 16, you decided to wear a dicky bow to school?
Yeah.
That must have been great.
That was during my PG Woodhouse phase.
It's not. Yeah. You thought you'd be a hit with the ladies if you were more sophisticated.
Well, not only that, I thought it'd make me kind of kooky and eccentric.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't already. 6'7", goggle-eyed.
Yeah.
Like they're not already thinking there goes a weirdo. Oh, he's a weirdo with a bow tie.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Does it spin round, mate?
Yeah, what
Because you're getting me hot.
Exactly.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I wore that for about 6 months, and it was in school colours, because we had to wear a tie at school, but this was a bow tie. I mean, now I don't, oh, man.
I can't believe it.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Carl, when you were, a little Pilkington, right? What was, if you had hair, what would it be like?
What do you mean?
Well, you obviously had hair back then. What was the, style?
It was like, sort of, I had quite sort of, fine, sort of straight hair.
Yeah.
Right.
Hairdresser once said to me, "You've got hair of a Chinaman."
He was a wise man, wasn't he? What do you think that meant then? Oh.
He just said, he just said, "You've got the same hair as a Chinese man has. Very straight, quite fine."
Why is he telling you? I just imagine this bar going, the Arsenal did well, didn't it, sir? Something on that? You have the hair of a Chinaman. I'm sorry, nothing. You're not the spy. No, I'm not. Thank you. Good night. Oh,
you're not my contact.
Yeah, lovely. You have the feet of a fish. I'm sorry, nothing. It's not you. Okay, next. You have the hair of a Chinaman.
It was one of those barbers, it was a cheap one, just on a railway bridge.
I don't believe that. Go on.
On a railway bridge?
That's why it was cheap. It was very low rent, so he could charge 50p.
That wasn't the barber, that was a man with some scissors.
Yeah. Did you go, oh, have to move you there, sir? Wow. Yeah. Okay, back in the chair, sir.
I imagine them on one of those things you always see in old films where you've got to,
have to press down up and down, yeah, like a seesaw. Yeah.
That's as good as that. It was just a normal chair, little wooden hut, and he did have to stop when a train came past, because it used to...
Well, because he had to change the signal.
Just making a few extra bucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
That's Manchester for you.
Oh, God.
It
wasn't Bernard Cribbins, was it?
I always remember him saying, "Do you want your hair washing?" And I said, "Is it free? You know, does it come with it?" And he said, "Yeah." So I said, "Oh, go on then." He said, "Hang on now, I'll just have to wash these mugs up." He had like a sink full of mugs.
Oh,
I'll just take these out and then I can wash your head.
Oh, no.
And that's why.
Why did you go to this man?
It was cheap.
How much was it?
About £2.
And when was this?
God. At 88, 89.
Alright.
Yeah.
So what happened to your Chinese hair? When did it start coming out?
You have the hair of a bald Chinaman now, don't you?
You've got the hair of a Chinaman in a box now.
I used to just work a lot of hours, and I think
that's what made it fall out.
Yeah, of course.
It's not. It's genetic. You can't stop it.
It's not genetic.
Of course it is.
Your dad bald?
No, he's got more hair than me now, I think.
Is your mum?
Kojak's got more hair than you, Carl.
Anyway.
Don't have a go at Carl's hair. That's a bit harsh.
Oh, look at his little face.
What did it say before in that book about going bald? It said, it had a little tip, didn't it? We'll go over them later.
It says, if you're going thin, doesn't it say, cut your hair short and something like that?
So it makes you look thicker.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got people are offering Karl lots of. We're coming up to that. In
we'll go through that. So obviously we
win that BAFTA bag.
Shall I remind people what the competition was?
Yeah.
Last week we were giving away this bag that we got signed by various celebrities at the BAFTAs, and we asked you to email or write in with your suggestions as to what you have that you could swap for the bag, and it has to be something that will enhance Karl's life. We've had quite a lot of suggestions. I'll go through those a bit later, but they're some of them are quite eccentric.
Meanwhile, I'm going to play one of my favourite songs off one of my favourite albums.
I look forward to hearing it.
It's Radiohead, it's the Bends, and this is Black Star.
Go for it.
Sugar Cubes.
Hit.
Yeah, on XFM 104.9. Our last show till August.
Absolutely.
Sorry about that, we'll miss it. We can't avoid it really, we've got to go away and do some filming. And, they're only going to miss you anyway, Karl. They can do without us now.
Zoe Ball's on.
Yeah, Zoe Ball. And who else is after her? She's not doing the whole run, is she?
Yeah, I think so.
Is she doing the whole 3 months, is she?
Yeah.
Tell her not to get too comfortable.
Alright.
Right? Don't let her feet, and don't let Big Boy Slim come in with her, because he mixes up the records, doesn't he? And ruins them.
Yep. Hey, talking of DJing.
Go on.
You know, I did that storming set the other night, for XFM.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Go on.
This was down at a little club, in case you aren't aware of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to the Sony's the other night.
Yeah.
Karl Pilkington, sidles up to me, slips me an envelope.
Go on.
200 big ones in there.
Do you get paid cash for that?
Yeah.
£200. Taxman won't know about that. Cash in hand.
No, the taxman won't know, because, I mean, obviously no one who ever works in tax is listening to local radio.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, so...
No, the taxman will know about it.
Yeah.
Because I'll declare it.
I would.
Put it, it's going straight down. I'll do it when I get home. Do it when I get in later on.
And don't write off rubbish that you buy anyway, like, you know...
No, I won't. No. I'll do it all above board officially. Fill it all in correctly. And so I'll send it now, I'll send it tomorrow so that you get it early. So it's not too busy for you, sir.
Oh, never mind. Oh, yeah, also, did you see, Liquid News last night?
No.
What is Liquid News? I don't really watch
It's
Liquid
the thing on, Choice, right, and it's, sort of celebrity news, yeah? And, Julian Clary, was on, and, they were talking about the Sony Awards the night before, which we went to, and they said, something like, a relatively unknown had won the Entertainment Award that we worked for, and Christian and Chris Moyles and Jonathan Ross said that, beating off bigger people. Not he was beating off bigger people. They weren't suggesting he was...
Was Julian Clary beating off other... Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it said, so, the people who didn't win resorted to silliness. And it cut... Right? I don't know where the camera was, it must have been miles away, because it wasn't us. Cut to me making a little hat for you out of a Budweiser box, a little Dalek thing, and then forcing it on your head, and you sort of struggling. Do you remember that?
I do remember it.
Yeah. They're always watching.
They were filming us?
They were filming it, yeah.
Scary.
So, yeah.
That's really scary, because some of the things we were doing...
Because I was tying scarves around your head, wasn't I? We were
touching Karl in an intimate way.
We were gaying him up. To make him feel all uncomfortable and everything. Because he doesn't like that sort of thing, do you?
Can't stand it.
We're going to be giving you a cuddle about 5 to 3, seriously.
Yeah.
We are going to...
On the way out...
And I've got roaming hands.
Yeah.
Do you know them girls who came up from the Radio Academy and sort of said, oh, so you're Karl then?
Right, yeah. A couple of fans went up to Karl.
Yeah. Just on the way out, I said to him again, I said, look, I'm not gay. Because they were convinced I was.
That's because if you remember a couple of weeks ago, we teased Karl that he had to go as Steve's partner to the BAFTAs, and they really meant partners. You know, after the show, when he was walking home, he was going to go buy his suit, I actually said, they will ask you. He went, well, what if they say, and as we walk in, Steve Merchant and his boyfriend, Karl, well, they won't say that as you walk in, they might overdub it on the television, so he's going, well, what about my mates in Manchester? And he said, I'm not going. The risk of someone in Manchester thinking that he was going out with you, mind you, it was probably going. Wow,
if he was going to see where you're going,
if you were going to be gay, you wouldn't choose Steve, would you?
No.
Who would you choose if you were gay?
If you could go out with any bloke, who would it be?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. He's thought about it before.
Go on. No, of course not. No, who would it be? Who, if you know, if you were gay, what bloke would you go out with?
God, probably, Jonathan Ross is alright.
You gay! You fancy Jonathan Ross, you Bender! Oh, Bender!
Rossi!
Bender.
Oh, you've got his number, haven't you? We should get contact.
I love you, Jonathan, you!
Hello, Jonathan, I love your film show. You're so funny and handsome and well...
Rock and roll with me, David Bowie. off Diamond Dogs. Another one of my favourite tracks.
Cracking.
Great track, isn't it? Well, it's time for Karl's Room 101. Karl's too shy to obviously ever do this for real, but we thought that end the run of this with things that Karl hates.
Yeah,
we know the thing he likes. We know that. So, Karl. Okay.
We should just point out that we've been inspired by the TV show Room 101. We didn't come up with this ourselves.
Yeah, we did. This is Room 102. Yeah, we'll be Paul Merton, and you be Karl Pilkington. Right. You can chance to banish to Room 101 all those things that you dislike. They're never to be seen again. Will you please welcome Karl Pilkington?
All right.
Who?
How are you doing?
All right, Karl. So, what does this represent? And imagine me putting some on the table next to you. Go on.
Right. Well, first of all, right, it's dead hard to come up with, like, 5 things that drive you up the wall.
Okay.
Right? It's not easy, because there's so many things.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you know, picking 5, it's like someone saying, pick your 5 favourite records of 5 favourite films.
Yeah.
So, it's hard, so...
You know in Desert Island Discs where you always get the complete works of Shakespeare in the Bible?
Yeah.
I think you should include Ricky Gervais. I think you should always be there already in Room 101. They don't have to nominate you. You always go in.
Go on then.
So don't bother putting him in. Don't bother putting Ricky in, Karl. He's already there.
I'm already there, waiting.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Right.
Yeah.
First of all, right, I thought of, like, things that we've done in the past.
Sure.
And, like, quotes and that you were talking about.
Yeah.
That quote that people say that, you know, money doesn't make you happy.
Yeah.
Right? We're just rattling through some here.
Yeah.
That annoys me.
What?
Well, the quote, money doesn't make you happy?
Yeah, because it
Why?
does. It clearly does.
Right.
Without it, life's pretty dull, isn't it?
Yeah, good.
Right, so,
okay.
so that's like a little short thing, and you know, then that sort of makes you think about people with money. There was a programme on in the week, I don't know if you saw it, Steve, the one, Posh Loaded.
That was brilliant, wasn't it? That was a great show.
So annoying.
Oh, yeah.
There was a girl on there, right, who's from a rich family and that, and, you know, it's not her fault she's from a rich family.
No.
It's like how posh people annoy people. That doesn't annoy me, because the way I sound is because of where I'm brought up and that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you sound posh, you sound posh. It's, you know, it doesn't change you as a person or whatever.
Yeah, it's quite
But this girl, right, did you see it, Steve?
I did.
You didn't see it, did you, Ricky, right? This girl goes shopping, she buys like 4 t-shirts and a crappy little handbag.
Yeah.
Spends about 1,300 quid. And she's just wasting it going, you know, the woman's saying, oh, you'll love these, you know, they're really in fashion. She said, oh, whatever, I'll probably only wear them once anyway. And it just, that sort of thing annoys me.
Yeah.
You know, people with money, you know, who have grafted for it are good. But like, you know, people who just get money given to them from the rich parents trying to make the world. There was another point, right, where she's in a shoe shop, right, and, she's like, got these big boots and stuff. But part of the problem is, right, she's quite odd looking and that, right, but she's got a lot of money, so she makes herself look half decent.
Yeah.
Problem is, she's got fat ankles.
She's got what?
Fat ankles.
Right.
And they drive her up the wall, because no matter, I mean, it's one of them things, isn't it? It's almost like God has gone, yeah, you can have all the toffees and stuff you want, you can have, like, your nice t-shirts, but at the end of the day, love, you're stuck with these ankles, and you can see these...
I love the idea of God saying, right, you can have all the toffees you want,
Yeah.
and you have nice handbags and that, but you're stuck with these ankles, oh God!
And I really wanted to get a job in that shoe shop where she was going in, blowing her dad's money, and she was calling up her dad saying, oh, Daddy, is it alright if, you know, I'm just out shopping, I've just bought some shoes that have cost like $1,000, and I really wanted a job in that shoe shop. Just so I could sit there, and when she comes in, you go, oh, hello, love, whatever her name is. Lovely to see you here again. Got some lovely new shoes in. Look at these nice new boots, everyone's wearing them, Victoria Beckham. And, you know, all the it girls are wearing them. Yeah, try them on. Oh, you can't, because your ankles are so fat. You can't get into these. Never mind, here's some boots. She really annoyed me. And I'm not a nasty person.
You're
but
not.
She brought it out of me.
Oh, I'm worried though, this idea of you getting a job in a shoe shop, I'm not
know.
sure you're qualified.
I like all that's way round it. That
Yeah.
some people go, oh, I'd like her to lose all her money or something. He'd like to actually bother go through getting the job in the shop.
Yeah.
And then just wait in there.
You'd be too busy mucking around outside like, on some kind of trolley stuck in a little lake.
Yeah.
But interestingly, in that show, I was watching that show, and at one point, you mentioned that her fat heels or her fat ankles.
Yeah.
She said, I'd like to have various changes to my body. I know, plastic surgery. I'd like to do this to my face and da-da-da-da. And, her mum's there, and her mum's going, no, don't be so, no, you're my daughter, you're beautiful, da-da-da-da. No, you shouldn't, I'm not gonna let you have those, and da-da-da. She went, I'd love to have an operation on my fat ankles. Her mum went, yeah, I do agree with that. What kind of a mother does that?
Oh, how bad can fat ankles be?
I know.
What were these ankles like?
Well, tell us, Rick, you must know.
No, do you know what I mean,
they were like, if you said to a little kid, say a 4-year-old kid, draw a person, they'd draw her legs. Do you know where there's no sort of thin bit, and then it comes out a bit for your knees?
Oh yeah, and
then
then just
ankles. It was just like 2 logs.
People go in and say, I like your new flares. What do you mean flares? They're leggings. Cheeky.
Awful, so, you know.
It's okay, so you're putting in posh girls with fat ankles.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your next one on Room 101?
Right, another quick one, really.
Go on.
People in supermarkets.
Right. What, the people who serve?
Yeah. It's mainly, these shops you get round in London that are like open 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
You'll go in and you'll buy you know, you don't do your main shop there. It's mainly just little bits in it. Your carton of milk and,
Sure.
maybe a loaf, a couple of balm cakes and that.
Yeah.
And you go in there.
Who still buys balm cakes?
Right.
Do they have them in
Yeah,
London?
yeah.
Do you ever ask? Would you be annoyed if they said balm cakes? We don't have those down here, they're rubbish.
That's happened before when I asked for gravy and they didn't know what gravy was.
When did you ask for gravy?
In a chippy.
What do you mean? What'd you say? Have you got any gravy?
Just because you up north you have chips and pie and gravy on it. And they
Yeah.
didn't have a clue what I was talking about.
Right, okay.
So that annoys me, actually. Stick that on the list. But,
You've got fishmen up north.
but listen, right? You'll go
We
in
saw a sign in the north, right? It was a little shop, and the sign said, "We sell bread." And it was handwritten. It was like there was probably like a rush with loads of people in turbans go.
What's this bread you talk of?
Yeah, little headscarves, little women running down with their little. Oh,
But anyway, these shops, right? So you go in there, getting your stuff, and you'll go up to the till, and they don't say hello to you. They don't sort of smile. They just bleep the stuff through. They don't tell you how much it is. They just sort of expect you to look at the till to see how much it is. So you can get your hand in your pocket, give them the money, they'll give you the change, and they won't say goodbye.
Yeah.
So it's like they just can't be asked
Sure.
to have any sort of, hello, how are you doing? I don't want a big chat. I don't want to know what they're getting up to and what, you know, what the dad does for a living and all that. I just want, like, how are you doing? You know, you're well, right. Oh yeah, this bread's, you know, popular or whatever. Right, that'll be £5.
You need to keep abreast of which breads are selling well.
Oh, Mother's Pride. That's a good choice. It's 70% of our whole stock is worth.
So that really, even though, you know, it is a 24-hour
I'll be honest. I would err on the side of silence, not rudeness. I hate rudeness if they do that, but I would rather. I'd start to go, £1.50, please, and that'd be fine for me. Any more?
What about
It's like-
hello and goodbye, have a good day? Not in an
It
American way.
doesn't bother me. I prefer people who say "have a nice day" and don't mean it to people who don't say it at all and don't mean it. To be honest, I don't worry about that mock sincerity because I think it.
No,
it
but
does
it's
the
just
job.
normal,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's
No,
like-
I'm saying I like people who say I don't care. They say, "Oh, nice to see you. Come again. Have a nice day." It doesn't bother me. But a chat. I hate people who think they're the life and soul.
No.
When
I
you're going
don't
for
mean like that. I mean,
fucking
like,
nuts.
you know, if you go through a door, you hold it open, you go, there you go. You know what I mean?
You expect a thank you.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, and also when do you come in at like a narrow walkway and you're both walking there, and I stop, we'll get out of the way, and they tut like I should have. I want to go. Hold on, look, we're both in the same boat here.
Yeah.
Why is it me? That annoys me. Where people
Oh,
think
tutting when they're in the wrong.
They own the street, or if two people aren't looking where they're going, it's one person's fault.
Yeah.
That really annoys me. Yeah.
So
Sorry.
that's it really. I mean, I know the 24-hour shops and they're knackered and stuff, but politeness, just to say,
Well, it costs nothing, does it?
no.
So those are your little quick ones, then we get on to your big
the
three,
meaty
don't we?
ones.
The big one.
Yeah,
Should we
if you
play a
want.
record and come back to that?
I know what you want.
I'm talking to Karl Pilkington on room 101 on XFM 104.9.
Yeah?
What is it?
You order.
Oh, excellent. You know what I mean? It's mad. We were shouting at you then. How loud are those headphones?
pretty loud, but I'm always wearing headphones, so...
Yeah, but look what I'm doing. This is an old radio trick. You put one earphone over your ear and the other one off so you can hear people in the room.
Hives on XFM 104.9.
What did you want to say?
Doesn't matter, Carl. It does.
The point is, it could have been important. It could have been a fire, anything.
When we shout anything, you jump.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Come on, Carl. Get with the programme, alright? Hey?
Right, what other things you want to put
Yes,
in 101?
Other than us.
Spiders.
Right, go on.
I know Ricky will be agreeing with this.
Yeah, all spiders, yeah?
I mean, not all spiders, because there's some spiders that are on the planet that don't do any harm. They clean up stuff, don't they?
What, I got little brushes.
Do you mean janitors spiders?
yeah.
No, there's some that, you know,
Hong Kong leggy.
just get on with stuff, but I'm talking about the spiders that are deadly. And spiders that are massive. I mean, Johnny's mate, Ricky's mate, Johnny, I mean.
Yeah.
He was talking about how, he was in Australia.
Yeah.
And he was sharing a room with a mate or whatever. And his mate was having a shower. And said, Johnny, just come in here a minute. And he went in, and there was a spider on the side of the bath that he said was the size of your hand.
Two hands width. It's sort of like a size track, just like 8 inches across.
That big, right? And the daft thing with that one is that can't kill you. It's massive. It's got no purpose.
It's a huntsman.
Yeah, but what? Something he said it does, right? If you sort of walk around it and it thinks you're going to try and trap it, it hisses at you
and jumps at you
and jumps on you, and it sort of clings on.
That's terrifying.
You'd be sort of running around trying to get it off, and it's just gripping on like the old stag beetle thing again.
Yeah.
It's clinging onto you. But there is no. What I don't understand is why is that spider that big? Right. Because no doubt it only eats stuff like normal spiders do, but it needs to eat more of them because it's a bigger lad. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't actually do anything. It's not like. I just don't
doesn't
get
try, it doesn't paint, doesn't do anything.
It's just getting in the way, and it's one of those things that are so big you couldn't kill it. Because can you imagine like the mess that would make if something that size if you stamped on it?
Yeah.
Which I'm not, you know, again, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
But I don't get that. And then there was a programme on a few weeks ago on BBC about spiders. And there was this one, right, it was going, you know, there's so many spiders in the world, and apparently there's so many of them, they can't give them all names. Right? What they're saying is, once one dies out, they'll actually introduce another one. Because there's so many different breeds of them that it's impossible to sort of make a book and list them all.
Right.
What, the book would be infinitely long.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a queue.
They're not trying to name it individually, are they?
No.
That's their problem.
No, seriously.
Yeah. Just keep it down to the species.
This is true, this.
Go on, yeah.
So they'll sort of go gives a spider, the Black Widow, right? Black Widow, they've all died, so, who's next? And they'll say, here's a redback.
Yeah.
And that's how they introduce them. So this programme was going on about this.
That's not how they do it.
No, they do it.
Okay. Your point
Okay,
right. So anyway, there's this little one, right, in Australia, and it shows you some kids being dead happy and playing around in the sun, loving it, you know, all healthy and that, and, you know, love being in the sun. They're playing around the pool, and, you know, there's a couple of them there playing swing ball and that, dead happy, not a care in the world. And, like, the one of them goes, I'll go swimming, because I've been playing swing ball for an hour, got a bit of a sweat.
Sure.
Go for a little, breaststroke or whatever. And, they get in the pool, and they can't wait to have a swim about, and then it pans to the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
And there's this little spider just sat there dead still. Right? Sat at the bottom of the pool holding its breath.
Holding its breath!
Okay.
Cheeks going up red, eyes bulging.
yeah.
8 pairs of goggles on.
One goes by with a snorkel. You should have thought of this.
4 pairs of flippers.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's sat there in the deep end, right? And then it pans back to the kids having a good time, chucking a ball to each other.
Yeah. I can see what's going to happen here.
And it pans back.
It's not going to join in the game, is it?
No.
And what happens is, the kid starts bouncing up and down on the floor.
Sure.
Goes and sticks the kid goes and puts a foot on the spider. Bites the kid, and apparently, if you're not seen to, you can be dead in 15 minutes.
Sorry, why does this spider sit at the bottom of the pool?
That's what it likes to do.
Animals don't do things they like to do. Animals do things for a reason.
Waiting for a kid to come along, so...
No! It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's what
It's not, it doesn't go out to murder kids. That's not what it does.
No, there must be a reason. I mean, if you just stopped when you watch these programmes and don't get involved with the music and, like, you know, the odd... Why does it sit at the bottom of the pool? There must be a reason. It either goes there for protection, food, to cool... It does it for a reason. It doesn't go there to wind up swimmers.
Yeah.
There must be a reason. This is it. If anyone's watching, please, if you're watching that programme, I don't know about this spider. What's the name of the spider?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Well, it did
08700 800 123.
Is it the Duncan Goodhue?
is it Paul?
I mean, I don't know, maybe it does go into other things like ponds and that, and maybe it does the same for ducks if a duck stands on it.
But why? The duck stands on it!
Why?
Oh, I love your brain.
Probably because eventually, you know, a kid can get, like, saved if it's seen to in 15 minutes, but a duck is just gonna, like, wander around and go, God, I don't feel well and what have you.
What good is that to the spider?
Because...
No, I'm saying it might kill it if it might protect itself, but it must be in the pond for a reason in the first place, or the swimming pool. It must be down there for a reason. It must have another agenda, evolutionary-wise. It can't just do it.
Could it be in training for the Olympics?
Unless it is just cooling. Like those, because on one of the other programmes that's a bit mental,
oh yeah, that one, yeah.
The one with the lizards. Did I tell you?
Well, let's not get into lizards. This could take...
Okay, no, go on quickly.
No, this is a good one. It was a programme, BBC programme again, on how insects and animals help each other out.
Yeah.
Right? They were saying how, you know, you might think they're an insect, but they think like humans do.
Yeah.
And they all help each other out. Right? And there was this lizard that, is running about in the desert. Right? And it's going, God, it's roasting. And what it does, it makes a little hole in the sand, and it goes under the ground and it cools down, right?
Yeah.
And then you see one of the locals, I think it was in Egypt or something, and the Egypt bloke comes walking along.
Egypt bloke.
And,
Is he walking like an Egypt bloke?
Walk like an Egypt bloke.
and what he does, right, he's looking out for these holes in the ground.
Sure.
And he sticks his hand in.
Yeah.
And
Why does he want the lizard?
he makes shoes and stuff out of it.
Okay.
Right? And you see him
Cobblers.
walking around, and he's got about 12 of these things in a basket on his back, and they're
Yeah.
all looking really fed up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's dead hot, and they can't be bothered trying to escape, and they look really fed up. And this bloke's laughing, you know, he's collecting loads.
I love how he watches this, like, because they sort of editorialise it and make it into, like, some
Exactly.
sort of, like, evil play.
Yeah.
No.
But then it was saying how this deadly scorpion that man is scared of is mates with the lizard. And the reason is that the scorpion goes into the hole, right? It can't dig its own hole because its arms are that big and it's awkward for it to dig a proper hole.
Sure.
So what it does, it goes into the little den that the lizard's made, right? And whilst the lizard's having a kip, the scorpion says, "Tell you what, I'll do you a deal. You have a kip, I'll walk up and down this hole here and sort of scare away any people." So the lizard's like, "Yeah, alright then, fair enough." Because the scorpion wants a little hole to keep out the sun, the lizard wants a kip, they've done themselves a little deal, the Egyptian bloke comes walking along, sticks his hand in the hole,
Yeah.
he thinks he's just gonna get a lizard, scorpion stings him, he runs off, drops the basket, all the lizards go running off.
I love the fact that that is what always happens.
Yeah.
They filmed that just by chance, and that's what always happens. I like the fact that the Egyptian bloke has done this every day. He does it. He goes, "Well, okay, I've got all these lizards. I'll just go to this hole again.
Yeah.
Because I haven't got that lizard yet.
Yeah.
This will be fine."
No,
I
it's- I just think...
And
you know,
when the lizard and the scorpion make that deal, and he says, "You have a kip,"
Yeah.
and the other one does it, do they talk in Egypt, or... I mean,
they talk
how
Egypt
do they,
bloke?
how do they discuss
They talk Egypt bloke or
this?
English bloke?
What language do they use, Carl?
No, it's the international language of love.
But spiders is what you're putting in Room 101.
Spiders.
Let's go back to that. That's what-
Spiders. So spiders
So
that.
basically, spiders that have got the poison to kill a man.
Because Rick, I know, because you...
Okay.
But Rick, I know
what
you're...
about the ones that are just too big for their own good? Those
I
are
don't understand that either.
But Rick, you're scared of all spiders, aren't you? Or
Yeah.
even the little tiny ones you
I
find
don't
in the
like
house?
any spiders. Yeah.
Is your husband afraid of them as well?
Oh dear.
Fine here.
What are we playing here? Oh, this is Cat Stevens, Silent Sunlight. It's beautiful off Catch Bullet 4 at its peak in the 70s.
Oh, Cat
Cat Stevens, Silent Sunlight.
Yep.
Carl just had a funny phone call, didn't you? From someone who's telling you all about the Little Brown, it's called, is it?
Little Brown, yeah. That's the name of the spider that sits in the bottom of the pool. He said it doesn't hold its breath. It's got an air bubble.
I didn't think it did hold its breath, to be honest. And then, as you know, Steve was opening a letter we got, and it's a football song, and it's They Don't Like It Up by the Leatherhead Gimpers.
But it's the fact we keep getting sent homemade singles.
Wow, that's good, isn't it? Oh, there's another one there.
They're both football anthems, though. We don't.
Well,
do we show any interest in football? Are we?
Well, yeah, the World Cup we do, don't we?
You're right, Rick.
Yeah. I've got a bet on as well.
Have you?
Chelsea to win 2-1.
What today?
Yeah. And I've got Chelsea to win 2-1, but Henri to score first. And that's something like 30-1 or something.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Cheers.
Brilliant.
Right, so, spiders, that's the first one we went on, isn't it?
So you
rude
agree with
people in supermarkets, spiders that are either have got enough poison to kill a man, or are unnecessarily big.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on then. Right, good. Going well.
Right. Next one.
Yeah.
Stars in Their Eyes.
Blimey, it's a popular show. You might alienate a lot of people.
Stand it.
Why?
Just, I think, if you've got a talent, right, there's loads of shows now that you can go on and make a killing.
Yeah.
Like Pop Idol.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Pop Stars.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So, people who will go on Stars in Their Eyes, they want to sort of be famous.
Yeah.
They want to be a singer. What I don't understand is why go on that show where you do all the hard work, got to do all the graft.
Yeah.
And yet, even if they win it, you never see him again. The guy who won last year, Christy Berg.
Ian Moore.
Ian Moore.
Before last, brought us down with his own stuff.
Yeah, but, alright. How did it sell?
I bet that sold well.
Exactly. Don't get it.
What I like is when, someone doing Edith Piaf, like, wins a heat, and, Matthew goes, well, I don't think you'll be going back to the, cleaning job, will you? Yeah. Yes, you will. Monday.
Almost certainly.
Monday. She'll be back there Monday.
Just,
yeah.
And just the way, you know, in like the final last week where the guy who was Elvis won, and they're all
I thought he would, though. I thought he was very good.
No, he was good. But will we see him again? Do you know what I mean? What is his job?
I don't know.
He'll be carrying on doing that. There's going to be no change to his life whatsoever. He's very good at what he does, but he's wasting his time on Stars in Their Eyes.
So I don't understand exactly what your issue is. You clearly like the show because you watched the final last week.
He thinks,
you agree that people are talented.
You think it's a waste of talent to go on Stars in Their Eyes because it's not a vehicle to be famous, whereas something like
Pop Idol,
yeah,
Pop Stars, even Big Brother. Do you know what I mean? Go on that. Sit in a room all day, have a month off work.
Because they're all big stars now, aren't they?
No, but what I'm saying is, it's less work to sit in the Big Brother house. Now and again, just sing a song, and people go, oh, isn't he a good singer? You come out after having a month's rest or whatever it is you're having there.
Yeah.
You come out and there's loads of record companies, like, waiting for you to come out and give you a deal.
And what happens then? When you get a deal, when you cut a record, what happens to that record then?
Then it's either sells or it doesn't.
And actually, what happened to it?
It didn't sell.
No, none of them did.
But what I'm saying is, that is a lot easier to do than all the graft that you have to do on Stars in Their Eyes and the pressure.
What would you rather do? Buy Craig's Christmas record?
Yeah.
Or, Ian Moore's, classics?
Probably Craig, just because the guy on Stars in Their Eyes really thought he was better than Christy Berg. When he was singing, and
I think I'm better than Christy Berg.
He was singing, Christy Berg came walking on.
Did he cry?
And he didn't stop and go, oh, I can't believe it, my big fan. He was sort of carrying on, like, don't interrupt me, I'll have a word with you in a bit.
You think you should show the man he's actually making a little bit of living off?
Yeah.
Emulating.
A bit of respect.
A bit more respect.
And the most annoying thing...
I imagine them arguing, rest each other's floor saying, I'm Christy Berg, no, I'm Christy Berg. Like two ventriloquist dummies, just having a fight in the dressing room afterwards.
But the most annoying thing of all with Stars in Their Eyes, people who go on and do people like, say like, I think last year, someone went on and did Lamal. Right? Now, if you wanna, because the whole idea is with Stars in Their Eyes, you get work off the back of that show by, like, companies, don't you, say, who will we book?
Yeah.
You could get the real Lamal for about 30 quid. So why have an imitator?
Well, it seems to me though, Carl, the problem is that show's been running so long that all the big names have already been done, so it's gonna end up having to be, isn't it, Lamal or some old kind of 50s singer you've never heard of? Isn't that the problem?
I remember when...
I mean, it's just
Eddie Reader was on there. You've had Eddie Reader.
But it's just a karaoke contest. It's just, I think you're assuming that everyone on there wants to get, you know, a recording contract.
They do, Steve.
Okay.
In that bit at the back where they say, and the votes are coming in, let's have a look at the tension now that's going on. And they sat there and they really think they are Elvis. And they are Luther Vandross. Sat there, and like, if they were all sat there having a laugh...
Woke up this morning, looked at your picture just to get me started. Filth.
If they were all sat there, sort of thinking, oh god, this is a bit of a laugh, innit? But they're not, you can see that they all really want it. And it's like...
So what I'm saying is, who are you putting in Room 101? Are you putting in the people who are just there to have a bit of fun?
Everyone involved in that show.
Including Kelly?
Yeah.
He's a talented guy. You don't care?
No,
he's going in as well.
He's in there first, and then everyone else, everyone who enters it, the people who go and sit in the audience, everything.
But what would you do Saturday night? You'd love the show, you watch it every week.
It was just on when I was getting ready to go out, and there's nothing else on at that time.
Sure.
And it was the final on Saturday night as well.
Yeah, you gotta watch the final, your live final.
The final.
Yeah.
Well, who would you do if you went on the show?
Moby.
I'd probably do... Ooh.
It's not that you look like them though, is it?
No,
you sound like...
they wouldn't let me on as Tracy Chapman. I was furious.
That's annoying.
Because I sound just like her, but they said... No.
Bowie.
You do Bowie?
Yeah.
Can I hear your impression?
No.
Well, come on.
No, because you just said if you could go on and what have you. I'm saying that.
Well, it's got to be someone you can do. I mean, obviously I'd go on as Will Smith because I can do the rapping.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm not a good singer. I've never really been into singing. I've never done a live singing thing before.
Haven't you?
No.
But if there was a talent show, on,
what did you do?
I did Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles, and I mimed, dressed up as a woman.
How old were you?
It was when I was still going to school, so it was like...
Well, I hope so.
12.
And why did you do that? What did you mime to, and why were you dressed as a woman? Where's the logic in this, is what I'm saying, Carl? What sort of act was this?
I think I was meant to get hold of some, like, Egyptian outfit. Couldn't. So I looked in my mum's wardrobe, and I had a dress.
Dress in a fez, carrying some lizards, that'd do it, wouldn't it?
I had some boots and a wig on.
And how did you dance? Look, he looks confused! He's
confused by his own act.
He's suddenly confused!
The best bit was it was like a proper talent show. Do you know where you cover it all?
Yeah.
So I did like the dancing and the miming, and then I also did a bit of magic, right? Where I had like a cloth, right? And I had it over my hand like that, and the crowd were like, oh god, what's he gonna do?
Of course they were. Go on, and what was the trick?
They weren't playing that! The crowd going, oh, what's the great
That's one chorus. Ooh, what's he gonna do?
Oh, what's the great Pilkington gonna do?
So what I did was, I was stood there teasing them, and
teasing the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I pulled I said, I'm gonna make a bird appear before your very eyes. Okay. And I pulled the tea towel off, and I just had hold of an egg. And I said, oh, it isn't born yet. They loved it.
He's so proud of that! Look at his face!
Did you come up with that yourself?
Yeah.
Did you have any help at all?
No.
So you did Walk Like an Egyptian and Dress as a Woman, then you did the egg trick.
And then I was also playing like a janitor. Because when the next person was singing, I'd come on and all the electric went off. And I came on going, oh god, has anyone got 50p for the meter?
Oh, you're quite a little showman, weren't you?
And then, like, you know,
Did you win?
Chucked us some money.
Yeah.
And,
are you sure you weren't actually employed as the janitor?
No, did you win?
No, I think we came second. This really tarty girl who did Madonna, like a virgin. And I thought, yeah, right. Like you are. She's a right ropey little woman. But,
so great. Okay,
brilliant.
so Spider Stars in Our Eyes, we better play a track, hadn't we?
Indeed, yeah. Bit of Tom McRae, this was a track we played a while back, I enjoyed it. Tom McRae, End of the World News.
Yeah, I love that one. I hope you're enjoying the music. We're loving it, aren't we?
Indeed.
Still to come, we've got another entry to Room 101, Carl's final entry, and then that giveaway, the famous giveaway with Enhance Carl's Life. Can I have some adverts though first, Carl, because I'm getting a bit fed up with adverts for a little while.
Valley Drum Boy, Once Around the Block, classic, a retro cut.
Getting a bit sad now, Steve, 20 minutes.
Indeed. You're right.
I've got so much to say, I've got so much to leave people with about Carl, all the things he's is done. Looking back, Carl, do you remember when I put up the waste paper bin on your head?
Classic.
Classic time, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that? What did I do to you today?
Well, you tried to bring the same memories flooding back to me by putting the same grotty bin on my head, but the annoying thing was, last time I did it, it was quite a new bin.
Yeah.
Did it today, it's rank, all sorts of stuff on
What
it.
else did I do when I saw you go around the corner down there? Go on.
I went to get the paperwork and that you need to produce the show.
Yeah.
And, came round the corner, Ricky was sort of hiding, and I was concentrating, reading stuff, and he goes,
I don't imagine it was as soft and gentle as that. I imagine it was more like... Exactly.
Like that. And I tell you what, I nearly exploded, because he sort of hopped on one leg, right? And it was... he sort of, I don't know why I'm doing this, but he sort of was walking out and we're looking down, and I went, and he hopped like that, and his
Rest assured, listeners, that if you were here, it's not any funnier than it is if you were listening at home. It's only amusing to Ricky.
But I tell you what, it makes you feel really refreshed.
He was going on and having a heart attack like that, and I was nearly having a heart attack laughing, and he went, I feel good now. He said, I can see why people skydive. He said that would be good for people that were ill. Oh, Carl.
Did make me feel...
How am I gonna live without Carl for 14 weeks?
Oh, you'll find other people to irritate.
Oh dear. Okay, so right, well, we got this final entry in 101, but we've also had so many emails and letters about this competition. People trying to bribe you with things. They've been great. Can you read a few of them all?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, obviously, this is people are trying to win this bag that we got signed at the BAFTAs. We got Graham Norton, Angus Dayton, Alan Davis, Jamie Theakston, Paul Whitehouse, Baxendale, Helen, Steve Filmich and McFadden, Peter Davidson, Simon Pegg, Steve Wright, all different people signing the big bag.
Do you know what I think, though? I don't think people want that. I think they want to contribute to Carl's existence.
Well, this is
I really genuinely think that Carl was sort of, you've you know, you've only one. How long have we been doing this now with you? Sort of like, you know, in the area, 3 months.
Yes.
I think you've touched people's lives, Carl. I don't think I've ever met. Well, I haven't met you, but I think your soul comes across as like a cross between. I'd put it's like a cross between a cat
And Rain Man. But we've had quite a few which are sort of, which obviously want to kind of further your education. Obviously, when we're off air, this is something we're worried that's just going to dry up, you know, and we've tried hard to educate you. So, lots of books, lots of people suggesting books, the Giant Book of Mysteries. And I mean, if you chose this one, Carl, it tells you, how 3,000 Japanese soldiers literally vanished overnight. Real-life accounts of vampires. The man who planned his own crucifixion. The famous Ghostbuster, Harry Price. And lots of, things about spontaneous combustion.
Is this the one about the woman with the hairball?
That's not got the one with the hairball in there. I'll have to dig that one out for you.
These sort of books are the thing that I'm after.
This is what interesting is.
I've brought in one as well. It's a friend who works with Jane, my girlfriend, called Liz, and she wants to put this forward. And this is Trade Secrets: Everything You Will Ever Need to Know About Everything. And it's just like little tips. You know what I mean?
But there's so many things competing with that. You see, there's another guy who sent in. He wants to give you a video entitled "Making Love" Parts 1 and 2, an instructional guide. I imagine you'd enjoy that, Carl.
Nah.
No, nothing they can teach you.
Nah.
Sure. The Reader's Digest book of strange stories and amazing facts again. Other stuff here. Why cats have 9 lives, Carl.
Well, hang on a minute.
Why meteors are likely to destroy Earth in the next 100 years.
You're wasting your time.
Okay.
In this Trade Secrets book.
Yep.
Listen to this for a tip. Make a necklace from electrical wire.
That's a good idea.
But don't plug it in.
What about...
Doesn't say that.
What about this then, Carl? Because obviously we're concerned that you didn't get your GCSEs, or you didn't get as many as you'd have hoped. There's a guy here, this is Victoria, and she's saying she's more than willing to give you all of her awards and certificates. She's got 6 GCSEs, 6 A's and 4... She's got many GCSEs, in fact, 6 A's, 4 B's, 3 A-levels, and a master's degree in philosophy. She's willing to give you those certificates. She says you will be the proud owner of qualifications. As the owner of qualifications, she has found that anything she says is invariably believed, and that she's popular and very happy. She's willing to give you those qualifications. That's pretty impressive. You can claim they're your own. You have to change your name to Victoria, but other than that, I can see no problems.
And you have to put a dress on and a fez.
It's nice.
More like an Egyptian. But you see, there's lots of educational ones. Then there's other things which are perhaps less useful to you. This is, doesn't say who it's from, but, I think it's Ruth, and she's happy to give you a statue of an ostrich that she made when she was 7.
What about that?
Alright, you love birds, you love animals.
Yeah,
apparently
statue.
the legs fell off under the weight of the body, so now it's just a legless ostrich. But even so,
Yeah.
Even so.
I've only got a small flat.
sure. Another woman here. This is
I doubt if it's ostrich size.
Yeah, it's just clogging up space, though, isn't it?
This is Lauren. She's willing to give you some of her handmade blue tack animals. She makes animals out of blue tack. She can give you an elephant, a seahorse, a tortoise, a pig, a butterfly, fish, snail, even a stegosaurus, or anything you choose.
See, I've got my art set on.
You've got the books. You're excited by the
this
books.
book.
What about this, though? This is a Lego alarm clock with a little Lego man who's got a variety of hats. It says here, including biker's helmet and cap. 2, I think, of the village people. I don't know, Karl, if again people are picking certain things up. A clear stiletto mobile phone holder with pink fur on it, flashes pink and green. I think people know that you are
not
gay.
listening. In this book, listen, right? In this book, little tips and stuff. So one here about if your dog keeps nicking a remote control.
Sure.
The way to get it off it, ring the doorbell. Right, so you got to get off your chair, go and ring the doorbell, so the dog goes, what's that? And it drops the remote control, goes running to the door,
Yeah.
you run back and pick it up.
I love the idea of Karl doing that. And then the doorbell goes, and Karl drops it and goes, and it's the dog pressing the doorbell, and it sits back down, and Karl going, oh no, not again.
I mean, I really do want, can't I just have this?
You excited by that, are you?
It's brilliant.
What about this one, though, that you mentioned? This is, a book which has got all those, urban legends and stories that you've read on the internet, and it tells you whether they're real or not. This has got the one in there. I know you're very excited about the one with the woman who stuck her head in the microwave.
Yeah.
Eh?
Right.
It's not.
Alright, so basically, she's saying here that whenever Ricky says, oh, it's not true, you can dispute that with your book.
Yeah. What do you think then, Karl? Do you want to have a think about all these gifts? And
There's
then
so
come
much
back?
stuff, isn't there?
Should we play a record and then come back?
Can't,
Have you found something you like in there?
You're so undecided, Karl.
I really like this book.
Go on, then, what is it? What else you found? What tip?
God, there's loads of stuff in here.
Yeah.
Let's just pick one at random. Don't be too tidy. Leave some areas for helpful garden animals to hide in. So when you're cleaning your garden and that, you know, it might look a bit of a mess, but think about the animals that are walking about at night in the dark and stuff.
Yeah.
Just little things you don't think about.
Yeah, because they're pointless.
Little, yeah.
Okay, then, well, let's play a record.
Oh, there's so many
to
to decide on.
Yeah.
Alright, what we're playing, Steve?
This is something, from a little compilation that came free with a magazine called Comes With a Smile. It's a good little magazine. And this is, by Matt Pond, PA. It's called Night's End. I suppose there's a little bit of New Country, which we don't play often, but, there's some nice tracks floating about, and that's, Matt Pond, PA, Night's
Well,
End.
I'm getting very sad now. 10 minutes to go, and so much to cram in. Now, thing is, Karl's fallen in love with that book, but I feel a bit bad letting a friend sort of win when all these lovely people, these regular listeners, so I don't think you can have that. But I'll tell you what, I'll borrow that, or I'll buy it for you. So you can have that anyway. What have
That's
you
safe,
found
you're going home with that.
You know, avoid washing up by boiling the bag food.
See, I can see why you'd love that.
Exactly.
Is there anything else? What other things have you caught your eye, though? Put that book down. Yeah, go on.
Well,
One of our regular listeners who actually wants the bag and wants to be part of your life. Come on.
Well, Richard emailed in, right? And he's got a book, which is similar to the one I like there.
Yeah.
Which has got, like, 180 stories in it. I mean, most of them are, like, true, I think. Do you know I was telling you that story about the woman who put her head in the oven to dry her hair?
Yeah.
Because she liked the way...
And she boiled her brain.
Yeah, she stuck it in a microwave.
Avoid washing your hair by boiling the brain bags.
So she put her head in the microwave?
Yeah.
And boiled her brains?
Yeah.
And boiled the brains.
Sure.
Because she thought she'd get the same result as she did from the oven, but it all went wrong and that. And
What do you mean? She used to dry hair in the oven? And she just, like, went modern?
Apparently, it's like what punks used to do. You get a different sort of heat off an oven than you do off a hairdryer, right?
Sure.
So, she thought, well, I'll do it in half the time, use a microwave.
Sure.
She
was busy,
I
she
don't
was late.
understand how you can get your head in a microwave. It only works when the door closes.
Yeah, but you jam the little thing, don't you?
Well, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't tell. I don't think it's possible, but don't.
Of course it is.
Yeah, well,
But anyway,
don't
but
do that.
he remembers that story and said, I've got a book full of stuff like that. And, he sort of sums up a little story that's in the book about this girl who, she had long hair, right? And, she used to always mess around with it. And, she's sucking on it. Do you know, like how girls do with the long hair? They sort of mess around with it and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's sucking on it all the time. And she was doing this from the age of, like, 10. And then, I don't know, she's probably about 30 odd. And, she's doing this all the time.
Guessing.
And, she goes, oh, God, my belly's hurting today, mum. And she goes, oh, what's wrong with you? She said, I don't know.
You're 30.
Yeah. So, so she goes to the doctors, and the doctors do an x-ray, and nothing's coming up, and it's like, I don't know what's wrong with you, you know, you're just being a bit moany about nothing. She's like, no, honestly.
She's a very intolerant doctor.
Yeah.
She said, this is...
Piss off.
This is really hurting, I don't know what's up with it. So anyway, they found out some sort of system of, looking at what was going on.
Yeah.
And apparently...
X-rays?
No, it wasn't x-ray, because x-ray didn't show it up.
Okay.
It was something else. So, anyway... It's only gone and turned into, like, she's been sucking her air for so many years that little bits had come off. She's got a giant air ball in her belly.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Which was, like, huge, the size of a rat or something like that, right? The size of a...
It's so interesting what he chose. The size of a rat.
No. Well, the funny thing is, when they eventually got it out, the mum was like, you know, oh, God, it was terrible. And that's what she actually said. It looked like a dead rat.
Oh. Right.
And it was in her belly, and that's, like, what was causing all the pain.
Sure.
And apparently your belly acids don't kill hairs because they're so fine it can't handle it.
Yes.
Right. So you're going for that book, are you?
That's the one I want,
Who's the winner then? Who's the winner of the lovely BAFTA
What's
bag?
his name there? Richard Scholar, is it or something?
Yeah, Richard, Scular or Scowler or something else. So he's the winner, so check it out. You're gonna get that book coming to you. I'll borrow this book for you.
I need an email within, like, 5 working days to sort of...
So what's your email?
It's karl.pilkington@xfm.co.uk.
Okay, lovely.
I want an email from this guy, and I won't be sending the bag out until I receive the goods.
Okay, right, good.
enough.
Well, we've only got a few minutes. I want to play Suede, and I want to end with the Smiths track, so let's play this.
What is it?
Suede, Stay Together. Lovely track. My favourite Suede track of all time there. Well, oh, that's nearly it, Carl. Right, what's your last Room 101?
Oh, God. It was, holidays.
Holidays.
Well, you want to put holidays in Room 101?
People who are sort of annoying on holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know when you go away?
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of touched on this before.
Is this going to be the Scouse guy?
Yeah.
Go on.
Oh, it's so long, though. I mean, it was a holiday when we went to Tunisia.
And the Scouser pissed you off. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the annoying thing was, you know, when you go on it was a cheap holiday, and, like, the lesson here is, you know, if you want a good holiday, you gotta, like, spend some money.
Yeah.
And we didn't on this one. We spent about, I don't know, 400 quid for 2 of us for, like, a month or something ridiculous. And we got there, and, you know, you get to the hotel and you go, we have made a mistake. You know, it's a ropey hotel. You know, you can tell, like, the blinds and stuff as you walk in, they're all dirty and stuff, and you think, well, let's make the most of it. You know, let's not get down about it. It's a holiday, it's for a rest. And you try and make the most of it, and we had to meet. You know, like, you have one of those things where you get to your destination and the rep says, right, you know, go and unpack your bags and that, go and sort yourself out in the room, and tomorrow morning we'll meet up at 10 o'clock, and I'll go through, you know, the best sort of place to go for camel rides, and, you know, the best deals I can get you. That sort of thing.
Can anyone here walk like an Egyptian?
So she says, right, tomorrow morning, meet 10 o'clock in the discotheque. So we get up and we have breakfast, and it wasn't a good breakfast. The kitchen was, like, bit horrible, the food wasn't good, and it was run by sort of midgets.
What do you mean it was run? Not there's anything wrong with that.
There was little fellas running around, and the annoying thing was, one of them sort of started to fancy my girlfriend.
How did you manifest his affection for
No, you're not saying there's anything wrong with midgets, though, are you? Just saying it was strange that there was
Yeah, but even midgets shouldn't be cutting in on Karl Pilkington's
No,
territory.
I know, no.
But it's also that thing of, you know, they've got little fingers, and it's sort of
God,
ruined.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm not. It is a bit of a phobia of mine.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? They are nice people and that.
Sure.
Oh,
God.
But the annoying thing is...
So what was he doing then? How did he... I don't understand how he was chatting up your girlfriend. Was he crawling under the table so you couldn't see?
He just kept...
Whispering to her from underneath there.
Stop it.
Just sort of, you know...
Wait, I don't want to get a complaint on our last show.
There's not many midgets.
What's going to happen? Can we just finish this and start up again in a couple of months?
Oh, yeah. So if you want to know more about the midget theme restaurants, then we'll talk you in 3 months.
Yeah.
It's just... it's just...
No, that's fair enough, actually.
Oh,
no, you're
yeah,
absolutely
no,
right,
sorry
Karl.
about
That's your
this.
producer's head
Listen,
on.
we'll see you in about a really, it's been a pleasure, truly, and thank you for everyone that wrote letters. Have you really?
I've got you both a present, right?
Oh.
I got Ricky, do you know, like, we've done fables and
Yeah.
stuff? right?
Yeah.
This is like Mr. Ben.
Oh.
This is brilliant.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like little fables that Mr. Ben goes on.
Oh, fantastic.
So I want you to learn something from that for when you come back.
Okay, brilliant. That's lovely,
I'll tell you
Karl.
one of the stories I read this morning. It's brilliant. In fact, when you've done with it,
Yeah.
give it me.
Yeah.
Because I haven't finished reading that.
Okay. Thank you, Karl.
And for Steve, a little, chat-up lines.
A little book of chat-up lines.
That's fantastic.
That's great, Karl.
Well, we'll see you, in 3 months, but carry on emailing Karl. Cherish Karl Pilkington. He sits in a little room by himself, so keep him in touch, and we'll see you in, August. We're gonna leave you with something that, we all love. This is, There Is a Light That Never Goes Out by the Smiths. Very apt, I think. Goodbye.
See you later.
That's Feeder and Come Back Around. It's a new leaf, Steve. I'm gonna do properly now. I'm not gonna be slovenly. I'm sitting up straight, you see.
Yep.
And it's gonna be a proper DJing, because I think... Coming up soon, some great tracks, including a new one from Abs and an old one from Snow. Informer.
You don't be that if it's no me boom, a licky boom boom down.
I'm joking, of course. We've got some fantastic tracks, some
stuff,
great
yeah.
chat, and we've got Karl with
Some
me,
great
Steve.
chat.
Steve, I'm Ricky Gervais on XFM 104.9.
There he is indeed, with him Steve Merchant. And, Karl Pilkington, of course. Say hello, Karl.
Alright.
Yeah, nice. And, you say you read...
The beginning of a radio show is very much your wares, your shop window, laying out your stall. I don't think you could choose a better track than The Only Ones, Another Girl on the Planet.
I'd love to hear it.
One of my favourite intros, that.
Amazing.
Oh, that was dangerous, because I once heard on Capital Radio, this has got to be the greatest rock intro of all time, and they played Money for Nothing by Dire Straits.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can just imagine them putting their head down.
I remember a friend of mine at, when I was at school, he just bought a car, and he took me outside to show off the stereo system, Money for Nothing.
Really?
He just played that. I'd never heard the song before. Just played that for its entire 4 or 5 minute duration.
It is a
to
good
show
song
off
for
the sound system.
Yeah, it's a good song for showing off intros and sound
Yeah,
systems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You said you were driving along earlier, you saw someone,
Yeah, it was one of those zooped up sort of, sporty saloons.
Nice.
You know, the big, like a Mondale or something, those big, and, it was blaring out, and the bloke in it was sort of like, I could tell he was 24, but already going bald.
Yeah.
From, like, obviously his estate agency job, not too
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
But he's made a bit of money, and he's got, and the stereo system was ridiculous. I mean, so loud, and it was going through Covent Garden. He was playing Snow in Informer.
Oh. Do people remember Informer by Snow? It was a big tune in my
I don't know. It's great. Yeah, I always enjoy it.
Can I bring
but,
that in next week? Can we play
no,
Snow next week?
Well, you can play a tiny little bit.
Tiny
of it.
little bit of Snow.
Yeah,
Informer.
a
Do you remember
tiny-
Snow, Karl?
Yeah,
you loved it, yeah, big tune.
Yeah, loved it. Oh, did you?
Big tune from
yeah.
the 90s.
Happy song, isn't it?
Rick, you were
Yeah.
saying that you've turned over a new leaf.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that in all aspects of your life, or is that just in your broadcasting career? Because the reason I bring that up is because, do you want to describe what you were eating just now when we came in? Because you're a 40-year-old man, you've put on a little bit of weight, so presumably you're watching what you eat.
Well, no, but it sounded exotic. I went
Can
into
I-
a
go
cafe
on.
and they didn't have a cheese sandwich.
Right.
And,
Can I describe what it looked like to me? Right, it looked to me like a big slab of cheese. You just got them to just cut off a big block of cheese, like the size of a CD case. Or one of those double albums, right, of cheese, right? And just lightly melt that for me, so it drips over my hand and it gets really greasy in the bag. But just lay some strips of bacon on the top.
yeah, but listen, you've embarrassed
Is that
yourself.
what it was?
No, it's a croque monsieur, so it's French.
a what?
A croque monsieur.
A croque monsieur.
Yeah, and so I thought,
I've
ooh,
never heard of a croque
You're having a,
monsieur.
see, you've embarrassed
Is
yourself.
that how it's pronounced, or is
Yeah.
it croque monsieur? Oh! Hey? You didn't expect me to be bringing out the French. Eh? Tu aimes la musique pop? Oui, je t'aime la musique pop.
Le plume de ma tante.
Où est le syndicat d'initiative?
That means my aunt's pen.
So, what was it then? It was a croque
Yeah,
monsieur,
and it was just too greasy. It was just too, and it was all wobbly. I like toast, like it to be crisp.
Sure.
It's the thing with like, this is rubbish. Play Coldplay. Coldplay. It's alright, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad, yeah.
Yeah,
Not bad.
nice little track. Well, Steve, we've been away now for what, 12, 13, 14 weeks?
Is that really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been looking forward to coming back. It's great to be back.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Yeah, we've had some laughs, some tears in the interim, I imagine.
Yeah.
We've had a few ups and downs. Obviously, been working on the TV show, The Office, BAFTA winning, coming soon, BBC Two. But Rick, I just need to mention something quickly to you. When did I last see you? I saw you yesterday, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because we went up to Edinburgh yesterday. We were very nicely invited to go and talk at the Edinburgh International Television Festival. It was quite a big deal. We went up there and we were interviewed. And Ricky chose to go on the train because it takes like 4 hours, 4.5 hours or something on the train.
Yeah.
But it's quite leisurely. It's quite sort of gentleman. gentlemanly thing to do.
Yeah.
I opted to go for the plane option and fly up there.
More modern.
Exactly, and they bankrolled that, they paid for it all, and that was all not very nice. And as I recall, when I last saw you, we got a cab, didn't we? And you asked if you could get the cab to drop you off at the train station.
Yeah.
And then it took me on to the airport.
Yeah.
Now that was before, the last time I saw you was before I got to the airport and missed my flight, wasn't it? Because I had to drop you off in the centre of town. Yeah, no, that was just before I had to pay £165 to upgrade to another ticket.
How did you not tell me that in the last hour?
£165, Ricky, I had to pay because we dropped you off at the train station. So, I mean, do you want to go halves on that, or how do you want to deal with that? How do you want to sort that whole mess out?
Why were you late?
Why was I late? Because we dropped you off in the centre of Edinburgh, and you know how hard it is to get out of Edinburgh in rush hour traffic?
But it was only 3 minutes away, so you'd have missed it anyway.
No, because if we'd gone the other direction, it would have been 20 minutes. It took me like an hour to get to the airport. And I got there, and the plane had already left, and the cabbie was just laughing. He was saying, we're never going to make it. He goes, you were a religious man, you better start praying. I thought he was being facetious. He was absolutely right. £165.
But hold on, why didn't he tell you that when he picks up at 4:15?
It makes you wonder. So obviously, I'm a little bit annoyed. Because, you know, I'm not a man who likes to sort of spend unnecessarily.
But wait, this is not my fault, because you were there when we made that decision. I didn't impose this on you, we both decided that might be it's both our fault. I mean, it's no one's fault.
It's both our fault. That's fair, that's all I wanted to hear. It's both our fault, therefore it's both our financial obligation.
No!
£165, just split that in half. Write a cheque, Rick, write a cheque, it's fine. I trust you. You know.
Phone in, I think everyone, this is
You're clearly irresponsible.
No, of course I'm not. If you share a cab, and then one person's lucky enough to not be late, and one person is unlucky enough, and that's what it is, bad luck, I don't think you share the obligation. But phone, it's a moral dilemma, this, isn't it?
But it's more than that, though, isn't it? Because, let's be honest,
what?
Even if you had known that I was going to get there late, you'd have wanted me to hang around just so you weren't left around waiting for a train on the road.
No, because I got there...
Because you get bored sitting there, so you'd have wanted me to at least got in that cab.
I got there way too early. I actually got there I was there about 30 minutes
early.
You made
it fine then, that was...
Well, exactly, so I mean, I sacrificed me hanging around for half an hour so you could get it at 4:15. And the other thing is this, you were gonna get it at 4:15 anyway.
Yeah, but I would, if I'd gone the other direction, not dropped you off in the centre, I would have been there in time.
Wow, would we? Would we?
Well,
is that true? Wow. Only God knows.
Well, and the cabbie. What I mentioned it to. So...
I'll tell you what will cheer you up. I'll tell you what's better than 80 quid. I'll tell you what's better than that, shall I?
Go on.
Music.
What, are you paying the whole 165?
Listen, look, I've brought in a little track here, Bruce Springsteen off the Tunnel Love album, and I know you're a Springsteen fan.
I'm a Springsteen fan. We should just qualify this, because a lot of people who listen to XFM are obviously a bit edgy about Springsteen. They just think he's this old, kind of ludicrous 80s rocker, the bandana, you know, the flying the flag, which he never really was.
No, that was Bon Jovi.
Exactly,
don't confuse
Bon Jovi. But seriously, no, do you know what I mean? He did write some great music in the 70s, and he just got a little bit kind of pompous in the 80s, but he still turned out some amazing tunes, one of which I imagine is this one, Rick.
This one's called Brilliant Disguise. Bit of Springsteen there, Brilliant Disguise on XFM 104.9. I think that's soothed you a little bit, that's
not really.
Taking the blood off. I just remember something as well.
80 quid, Rick, 80 quid.
You know what, we finished the talk about sort of 3, and we had a couple of hours to kill before we got about that half 2, wasn't it? We had a couple of hours before we got the taxi, and we were eating in this cafe, and Steve said, how long's your train journey? I said, 4.5 hours. He went, so what time you get? I said, I'm getting about 10. He went, 6:30, me. And he's quite smug, and I went, yeah, I said, it is quite a long time. I just started to sort of relax and over. He went, yeah, he said, I think I'm come off better here, because usually you've organised all this stuff. He said, but I think you've chosen wrong here. I think you're right.
Yeah. Don't think those words weren't coming back to haunt me as I was handing over 165 notes. All I was thinking was, Ricky's gonna be loving it.
In first class, drinking, John Smith's, and listening to Mercedes Walkman.
Yeah, but I handed over my initial card. She said 165 quid then, I went, fine. I handed over the card. It was a Switch card. She said, we don't take Switch.
Don't they?
I was thinking, what am I gonna do then? I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know where I'm gonna get the money from.
What did you do in the end then?
Well, luckily I had another card.
Oh, right.
And she managed to accept that one. But I don't know what I'd have done there. I genuinely
You
don't know
didn't
what
tell
I'd
me
have
you
done.
had another card.
Yeah, I got 2 cards.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that is depressing.
I was so depressed because I just kept thinking about what I'd said to you. I've won this time, because normally I'm always like legging it for tubes, or I'm just, do you know, where I get stuck in the rain or
And
something.
I've
I just never
organised
seem
a
to be able to
driver or
organise
something.
travel.
Because when you get me a job, I said, why, it's up to you. It's up to you. You know what I mean? Every man for
But
themselves.
this time it was 4.5 hours, and I was just in that 40 minutes on the plane. There'd have been no problem.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I'm so livid. Do you know, I got off because I was not very well either. I'm a bit ill at the moment. I got off the plane, and I thought, well, I could get a cab from the airport all the way back home, but, you know, I've already been stung for 165 quid. Got the tube. Took me forever.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie to you. It took me forever. I got in probably later than you did. Around the 11 o'clock mark.
You didn't really?
No, it wasn't quite as bad as that. But I was so I'm really depressed, Rick. So I was saying 50 quid has took me right out.
I mean, Steve does not like to waste money. And, I mean, by that, I mean...
I don't like to spend money.
No. He had to go out and get our shirt for a photo shoot. Quite an important photo shoot for, I think, the Times, right? Went out, he was buying a shirt, went out, planned it, weren't sure. Came back, $14.99 from Henny's.
Henny's, $14.99.
He knew where he was aiming. He aimed straight for Henny's. He knew where he can get a bargain. This is a man...
But it seems to me that at that kind of price, you can throw them away, Av. You don't even need to wash them, really. You can throw them away using, like, Kleenex.
Have you ever thrown one away?
No. No. Just scrape off the stains and keep on wearing it, Rick.
Remember that time when we went to the casino for my birthday, and I was like 100 quid down, and some people were 100 quid up and 100 quid down. He, after the 3 hours we were there, was down £20, genuinely depressed.
I was almost crying.
Yeah.
Because I don't, well, it's because it's a mugs game gambling. It really is. Was that where because I went there, it was, there was one time we went there, it was, our agent's birthday.
That was another time we went there, right? And he was up. And he'd got a win, he was 30 quid up. And so I said, it's your round then. And the round was more than 30 quid. And he couldn't believe it. And he sat down and he went, I can't believe it. He said, and I bought him a present, so I was already down.
Yeah. I turned out I was already down because I bought our agent a gift. I didn't see him buy one. And you know that thing where you're buying a round of drinks for people you don't even know? So it's like, what's the story there? Why am I suddenly bankrolling you drinks? It's like, I don't know you people. I'm not gonna get any kind of, I'm not gonna see you again to sort of reap the benefits at a later point.
Because he came in with his 3
most of you are married or engaged, so I'm not even gonna pull from it. It was a waste of time. It was just pure generosity.
It was something like from Swingers, because he came into the cocktail bar holding 3 chips up worth £10 each and went, hello, like that.
Yeah, I was £30 up. That's a lot of money, Rick. You know, Carl, you know that. 30 quid, you don't want to sniff at that.
Oh, what song should we play? We've got lots of songs in. It's our...
Bit of Incubus.
Just to make me more depressed.
Do you like that?
Oh, I thought it was a bit slow.
I know, but I'm a fan of it.
I like slow songs, but I really do
I've always been a fan of it, even from, you know, early days. Yeah. I thought his first song was really great and much maligned. People didn't like it, because they were expecting, like, you know...
The Verve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Urban hymns and all that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
That's great. On XFM 104.9.
Who are you?
Ricky Gervais, who are you?
Steve Merchant.
Who's that little round-headed fella over there?
Karl Pilkington.
Carl, we've had a lot of Carl today. He's a bit tired, aren't you?
Just a little bit.
What happened? You came back from Edinburgh today as well, didn't you, on the plane?
This morning.
Yeah.
Got an early flight.
Yeah.
It's just annoying me, because there was, like, people on the plane fighting over, where they wanted to sit.
Surely they've got designated seats.
Well, they have, but that wasn't good enough for them. They wanted to sit next to the friends and that, and it's like, well, you can't, because you didn't check in together, so that's the way it is.
Yeah, done.
But the thing is, it's from Edinburgh, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand this sort of...
You can stand for that long, can't you?
Well, why do you have to sit next to the person anyway, to be honest? I mean, fair enough, if you're going on a long flight, someone to talk to, but for 40 minutes, it really doesn't matter.
I never want anyone to talk to. I don't want anyone sitting next to me to talk to me.
Why? What are they there for?
What? I don't mean people I go with. I mean if I'm travelling alone and I sit next to someone, I don't want them to talk to me.
Yeah, but... I don't really know...
If I was travelling with you, I'd really not want you to talk to me.
Not if you're gonna talk like this.
Yeah, this is...
Oh, you sound like you're suicidal, mate. It was just a couple of people arguing. It's over, man.
Yeah.
The plane journey's finished. Why is it still stewing you up?
He paid 160 quid and he's not whinging, he doesn't care.
165 quid, let's get it right. If we're gonna bring it up, we're gonna mention it.
And it's like Waterford looks back to him. Like he goes, he said to me, Rick, it's only money, and money is just something you have in case you don't die tomorrow. He's got a great attitude towards money, Steve. It's like, easy come, easy go. So just take a leaf out of Steve I'm not spending that much merchant, and you'll have a happier life.
Sorry, I just need to defend myself for a minute. There are certain instances in life where, you know, you're giving me an attitude like that I'm tight. It's not tight.
No,
Shut up. Let me defend myself. It's not that I'm tight with money. It's that I want to get value for money at all times.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you probably got a lot of cash given to you, maybe it's pocket money when you were a kid. Every penny I've ever had is been money I've earned.
Yeah.
So frankly, I'm going to spend it wisely. Like, for instance, you might say you're in a party, or so you're at a party, maybe out in a bar with someone's birthday. You get talking to a girl, right? Maybe you buy her some drinks, right? You're chatting to her, and then you're chatting away for 2 hours, and then at the end of the evening, she says, I've got to go and meet my boyfriend now. Right? She's wasted my money and my time there. Yeah. That's 2 hours wasted and money wasted, right? Now, she should have told me straight away that she had a boyfriend, and I wouldn't have bothered with her. I'd have moved on, I'd have looked on to her.
What if she thought she was just having a chat with another human being?
Though, Rick, where I'm being deliberately deceived so people can extract money from me or interesting conversation.
Yeah.
She knew what I was after. It was obvious. The drooling mouth, you know, the beady eyes. And yet she was leading me on.
And she was a prostitute. And think how he felt about that. I mean, what a slap in the face.
Let's not try and cheapen it with that kind of cheap sexual innuendo, right? She occasionally slept with me for money.
It wasn't for money, it was for meals.
Yeah. No, but the point was, do you know what I mean? It's just that sort of attitude generally in my life. It's like, don't waste my time, you know? Don't waste my time or my money. You're right, life is, the clock is ticking as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, and so just, if you've got a boyfriend and I come up and I'm chatting you up, just let me know and I'll move on. I won't bother you. Yes, please. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I feel they should definitely introduce some kind of badge system.
You see, the problem is that women without boyfriends will be wearing those badges now, and you won't be able to, you know what I mean? You won't be able to say, have you really got a boyfriend?
No, I just think there should be some kind of there should be an etiquette, there should be an understanding.
Yeah.
You know, because they know they can see what I'm after. It's obvious.
Is it obvious, is it?
I make it very clear.
You're not a subtle man.
No, I just come over and pant.
Do you still try and attract their attention by throwing small rocks at them?
Yeah.
As they walk down has that ever worked?
Occasionally.
Is it really?
You know, the desperate ones or homeless ones.
Oh, the homeless ones. He once, right, he said to me, he came in to, work, and he said, I gave a homeless girl £1, right? Because I fancied her. He said, is that wrong? Is that really bad of me?
I don't think it is, you see. I don't think it is, because it seems to me if she was an attractive homeless girl, then she deserves some of my money.
I just imagine him slowing down. I imagine him, like, going past loads of tramps going, get out of it, get a job. And he'd go, hello.
But I have to say, I did for a moment just pause and think to myself whether I could kind of scoop her up in my arms, take her back to my place, and kind of turn her life around like My Fair Lady.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And kind of teach her to speak properly, and dress her up in smart clothes, and take her out into sort of society.
Yeah. I think that's where your first mistake was. You said, listen, love, I'm up for it if I can hose you down. That was where you went wrong. Smiths, Cemetery Gates. Great, wasn't it?
Always cracking.
Off Queen is Dead. Voted best album of all time, I think, in an NME poll. I don't think it is their best album.
Strangers Here We Come.
I agree.
By far the best.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cracking.
Anyway, Karl, so people are arguing on the how did you enjoy Edinburgh, by the way, anyway? Because I saw you up there briefly with you and, Nick Frost, your new mates, Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. You know, he prefers them to us now.
I know, apparently, I could tell that from just talking to him, really.
It was just, the way he was sort of looking at them, everything like, he was just smiling at Nick Frost. It's his new best chum. You love Nick Frost, don't you?
Would you have preferred it, right, if I went to Edinburgh and had to sit with some people that I really didn't like? Would you have been happier for me?
No, do you know, but
so I had a great time with Simon and Nick, and they're nice people.
But he kept going to, oi, Nick, tell Ricky that story. And Nick and Simon, well, all it was, right, and their ghost stories, he loves them because they believe in ghosts.
Oh.
It's not just
they're
that.
great blokes with great sense of humour, just because they believe in ghosts. You go and tell him that, he goes, how do you explain that? I was going, well, I wasn't there. What was that one you told me and it was completely wrong? About the...
It was, oh yeah, right, it's years ago.
Oh yeah.
Some
in olden days.
Oh sure.
When ghosts roamed the earth.
Once upon a time, you mean?
Yeah.
Some doctor or something who was into, like, the way bodies work. They got their head cut off.
Who did? The doctor?
Yeah, he was doing a bit of an experiment.
And he cut his own head off?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was about, he said, when my head's in the basket, I'm gonna blink my eyes.
Right. Okay, sorry, hang on, let him finish.
And,
so the doctor has chopped his own head off, and he's told everyone, I'm gonna blink my eyes to prove that
he's in the basket, and he goes like, right, I'm gonna blink my eyes about, as many times as I can. So quick, count them. And they count, and he got to, like, 15 before he died.
Now, this is how Karl told me that. Till Nick Frost explained that, Karl told, he said, right, well, a bloke, right, he had his head cut off, and when his head was in the basket, he went, count how many times I can blink. And I went, well, that's rubbish. He went, no. And Nick went, well, no, he actually said, when my head's in the basket. He went, and Karl went, oh, I said, Karl, do you know the subtle difference? Do you see the subtle difference?
I have to say, though, guys, I still don't really understand what went on there. You've both lost me.
The story is that a bloke who'd been found doing,
You mean that Karl just explained it and that was a clear version? Because I still don't know what you're talking about, Karl.
Well, this bloke had his head cut off for experiments against God. He was a doctor in the, in olden times.
Yeah.
And when they cut his head off...
Why did they cut his head off?
Because it was...
he was executed.
Crimes against... Exactly, he was executed, yeah. And, he said to his assistant, when my head's in the basket, I'm gonna blink, count how many times I blink and write it down as an experiment, right? Karl told it to me, like, his head was cut off and he went in the basket, and when his head was in the basket, he looked up and said, count how many times I blink. Yeah. I love that. I love the difference in that story.
Yeah.
Both rubbish, but, one's possible and one isn't.
You believe anything that you're told, except when we tell you the truth.
Right, here's one.
Christ.
Ghosts and that we got talking about.
Sure.
And Nick said, right, he said, you'll like this one. He said, my auntie, was having loads of problems.
Why are you whispering? It's not illegal to talk about ghosts on the radio.
No, but
he's hearing this.
So, the auntie's in the house and that, and, furniture's moving about all the time.
Oh, God.
And they were like, no,
Steve, he told me this one. This is such rubbish, mate.
No, come on, let's listen.
I'm gonna leave it to you. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy it. I'm just gonna watch your face, Steve.
Right.
Sorry, so I missed the beginning there, Karl. There's an auntie in the house.
Basically, Nick's auntie.
Right.
In the house, things moving around all the time. And it was just annoying every time she tidied up. It was like...
it was just annoying.
Making a mess.
It was one part annoying to two parts scary.
Yeah.
So... stuff was moving around all the time, and they said, right,
we need an housekeeper.
Rather than having the house a mess, until we sort this out.
Stop it! I've got the vicar coming round. Stop moving stuff around.
Oh, yeah, go on.
They said
that shouldn't be in the pants drawer.
Let's put all the furniture in one room, right? So just have one room that's a mess, and have all the others empty.
Because I love the poltergeist can't really, it can move wardrobes around, but it can't open the door to put it in another room.
Yeah.
Poltergeist going, oh, I'm just making this room messy. I wish someone would open the door so I could... Go on.
Yeah, but... So all this stuff's in this room.
So they moved all their furniture into one room?
They put, like, the drawers in there and everything, and it was really uncomfortable, because they were all, like, on top of each other.
They sat in the room with all the stuff?
Yeah, they had to, because that's where the three-piece suite was.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Right.
All right.
Oh, God.
So they sat there, like, all crumpled up and that, but nothing can move because it's so tight. I think things were trying to move, but everything was so tight, it's
they
just
foxed that poltergeist.
So anyway, one night they sat there, like, sort of a bit awkward watching the telly and that, and you hear some banging in the next room. So she goes, oh, God, what's that?
Oh, he hadn't moved in, had he, the ghost?
So,
to some of the empty rooms.
So there's this
He's moved some friends and family in.
There's this banging about going on, she gets up, right?
Yeah.
And what it is, they had the baby in the next room, because there wasn't much room for the cot.
Right, so they left the baby with the ghost.
So, they go into the room where the baby is, and the banging... is like, do you know those plastic balls you get that you can chuck around the room and, like, they go mental?
Right.
The ones that you chuck once and they keep bouncing for ages. That was bouncing around the room.
Wow, what, the baby had thrown it?
Hitting all the walls, and the baby was there, stood in the cot, sort of laughing.
Right.
And looking at the ball, and wherever it looked, the ball went.
Yeah.
And then she said, stop doing that.
Yeah.
And the ball just stopped.
Did it?
And it rolled a bit and stopped.
Right. So the baby had thrown the ball and it was watching it as it bounced around the room?
It wasn't throwing it was in control of it.
No, the point is, Steve, the baby has been doing it. It would have been the baby all along.
The baby had been messing with the furniture. It was
so
a baby
that
had the power. Yeah, it's a baby that had the power.
Special baby.
It's a baby that had the power. It's a baby that had the power. The power of telekinesis.
Right.
They were then trying to convince me that telekinesis was not like all the other stuff that I didn't believe in, but that was a science.
Right.
Telekinesis was possible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like ghosts and demons and all that sort of. Telekinesis is different.
Yeah,
that's a science.
But Nick's auntie saw it, and
I love the fact that you're telling me that someone else's auntie saw it. So I should be satisfied with that.
Yeah.
I should be satisfied with that. I mean...
So does she still live in one room with all her possessions?
No, I think
the baby grew out of it. Apparently,
it grew.
The baby grew out of it.
So it doesn't use its telekinesis powers anymore.
Well, no, it's like in Carrie, innit? She was upset for a bit and then she got over it.
Okay, I'm just gonna say one thing, Carl. That was a film. Do you want to play a record or? Get free. All right, on XFM 104.9. Can I just tell you a story that Carl told me a couple of weeks ago?
Is this another ghost story? Another spooky story?
Yeah. I called him out. I was, what are you doing? He said, I've just been reading ghost stories again. He said, you don't believe in them, but how do you explain this? Right, I went, go on. He said, I'll tell you as he told me it. He went, bloke, right, just sitting at home, doing, watching telly with his cat. And, the phone rings, and it's a bloke going, is that fire, in your oven okay now? 'Cause your wife called. And Carl went, well, 1, there was no fire in the oven. 2, he wasn't married. I went, right. Go on. He went, well, then right, there was a knock at the door and there was 2 sort of people in sort of white coats and they came and said, we've come about that fire. Your wife called us. He went, 1, there isn't a fire in my oven, and 2, I'm not even married. Right? And he said, they saw the cat and they looked at the cat. It looks a bit weird at the cat came out, nothing. He said, and then he went back, sat down, phone rings, and they said, did they sort out the fire in the oven that your wife told us about? He went, 1, there is no fire in my oven, 2, I haven't got a wife. And Carl went, what do you think of that? I went, that's not it. He went, yeah. I went,
that's the end of the story.
What? He went, well, how'd you explain that? I went, explain what? I thought he was going to say, a year later we got married, but she died in an oven fire. Right? I thought it was going to be that. And I went,
that's people winding him up.
Yeah, or, someone did report a fire in the oven, and their name was Johnson, and they looked up Johnson, they got the wrong thing, it was the gas board, and they sent it round to the wrong person, right? You know, he went, yeah. I said, I explained it to him, he went, yeah. Why did they look at the cat funny?
Oh, man alive, Carl. This is really weird, right? I was in my house once, right, and the doorbell rang.
Yeah.
Right, I opened the door, there was no one there.
Yeah.
Right? And then I looked across the street, right, and there were some kids running away.
Yeah.
Now, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
There was another time, right, where, like, I opened the door and there was a bloke goes, you've ordered pizza. I went, I haven't ordered pizza. And I heard my mate upstairs giggling and putting the phone down.
Yeah. How do you explain that? Carl, seriously, why did you tell me that story? What did you think that was weird about that?
The fact that it was 3 different people.
Is this all the information? Is that the entire story? It
was 3 different people.
Did you fall asleep and not read the end?
A fire that didn't happen, about a wife that didn't exist, and a cat that didn't look happy.
Oh, I'm gonna have a heart attack, Carl. What? I mean, why did they look at the cat funny?
Because cats don't like, spirits, do they?
What? The other blokes were ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So these are kind of beetle about type ghosts. These are ghosts who walk the earth as the undead, just winding people up slightly.
That's lovely. That is lovely.
Seriously,
and a cat that did not look happy.
But seriously, why would ghosts wander around just like winding people up?
Oh.
Maybe something did happen there years ago. Some fire, some woman might have died in a house of a fire or something.
Yeah.
And, it sort of all happened again.
Yeah, it's certainly a mystery.
I mean, if you don't
it's a mystery. I mean, I can't.
What's this book you were reading? You were reading a book, which is interesting enough.
It was the For Tea and Times.
Oh, Carl.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say.
Well, I'll tell you this, Carl. There is a track that will spook you right out. This is Warren Zevon from what was it, like about 1979, early 80s?
Oh, great track.
Werewolves of London. Play this, Carl. But don't be from 1978, Carl. Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon. Are you a fan of that?
It's alright,
great track, isn't it?
Fans of Warren Zevon, maybe if you should know he's got a new album out. As we speak. Although, if you're a fan, you probably know that already.
Yeah.
If you aren't a
People
fan,
who hate him would be interested in knowing that he's got a new album out. Yeah. Do you believe in, I think lycanthropy? Is it not called?
What's that, sorry?
Lycanthropy.
What's lycanthropy?
Isn't that werewolfism?
Really?
Isn't it? Do you believe in that, Carl?
They've found stuff, haven't they? They've found kids walking about who are all hairy. Because they sort of grew up with wolves and that.
Yeah.
So
no, you see, 2 things there. You cannot take on acquired characteristics genetically. So if you grew up with wolves, it wouldn't suddenly make you hairy.
There's been pictures, there's been stories on it, and I reckon most people have, or a lot of people have seen the stories. It's a popular thing.
You mean the kids that are born hairy?
No, there's kids who've been born hairy, right?
Yeah, that's it.
No, but listen, and they walk around on all fours, and they drink milk from a saucer.
Steve, this is
remember,
easy.
Listen, remember that time with the maggot in the head?
Yeah.
Getting out with bacon, and you were like laughing, and then people called up and said, "Yeah, I've seen that. I've read about that."
Yeah,
this is the same thing.
Have you seen an XFM listener up close? Have you ever looked?
They drink milk from a saucer.
yeah, they've got to be kept on leads. People who listen to this show.
There's no point me telling you about stuff.
There is. It's comedy gold.
When you were at school, did you keep arguing with the teacher saying you're talking rubbish there?
Teachers didn't teach us about werewolf boys and ghosts. They taught us maths. God, right. Tell the story about the manhole cover.
Right, in the same magazine as the one with the cat and the fire and that.
Don't tell me that story again, it gives me the shivers.
Yeah, a cat that's got a weird expression on his face is against God.
Anyway, this isn't a scary story, this was just, like physics. Physics.
Yeah.
It was going on about the, nuclear bomb and how powerful it is. And, they put a manhole cover on top of one.
Okay.
Blew it up.
Yeah.
Never saw the manhole cover again.
Man alive, Carl. Unexplained.
What's going on there? Something weird is happening there. Oh.
If anyone has ever seen that manhole cover, please get in touch. We'd love to know where it is.
Oh, that's fantastic. What sort of experiment is that? I imagine all these scientists on multi-billion-pound research budgets, they're going, we test everything. What would you do to manhole cover? Don't know.
That's like letting a couple of students
yeah, exactly,
control of a nuclear
Do you reckon it can send a traffic cone into orbit? Go on then, put it on there. I love that. Imagine that. What value is that? I might tell you what we could do. We could put the manhole cover on it and aim it and then blow the bomb up and the manhole cover would have someone's eye out. Fire it. See if you can fire manhole covers off the nuclear bomb. I love it. Try bangers to a bomb. See if it's louder. Oh, God.
Okay, listen, Carl, play another track and then afterwards, can we probe your views on the week's news?
If you want.
We'll do a bit of a white van Carl session.
Today is the greatest, because we're back.
That's true enough.
Alright.
I hope people, Rick, were listening to that loud in this lovely summer's day.
I mean, no, not too loud.
Well,
don't
don't
annoy people that, White Van, Carl.
Yeah, White Van Carl. I mean, for those that don't know, we do this,
we ask Carl the questions that the Sun asked someone else.
That's right, the Sun every day asks, some, average Joe, his views on the week's big stories. Carl, let me ask you now, what do you make of Prince Harry smoking openly at a polo club? Are you aware of this story?
No. Was it? Go on.
Prince Harry, you know that he's one of the royals.
Yeah.
And he was seen smoking openly, a fag, a cigarette, at a polo
third in line to the throne.
Something like that, yeah.
Imagine that. Someone smoking a cigarette is third in line to the throne.
A cigarette, Carl.
Is it a non-smoking polo club?
Do you know, I don't know, but if it were, would that make things even worse for you?
Well,
no,
yeah.
seriously, what do you make of it? This is, the whole, the furore is, he's a role model, he's a royal, should he be seen puffing away in a public place?
I don't think it matters, does it?
Not a concern for you?
How old is he? Is he old enough to smoke?
I think he probably is, yes.
Right, yeah.
Well, I think the trouble with, this role model thing, with anything that's legal, it should either be illegal or not.
Yes.
I just don't think you can impose things like that, because you could say that it is bad for you, and it is bad to start smoking, and it really is bad for you, and it causes cancer and everything.
But everyone knows that, don't they?
Well, yeah, but you should either make it illegal or shut up about it. So this is Carl you're asking, isn't it?
I am indeed.
Sorry,
so we can throw these questions your way as well, if you fancy.
Sorry, yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
But Carl, what are your views generally? I mean, it's obviously cigarettes are perfectly legal and so on, but what about stronger narcotics? Because I know you're very scared of drugs and stuff, aren't you?
I'm not a fan.
No, what's your concern? What's your worry?
Just that you might get into them. It's like you might have them and go, oh, this is alright.
Exactly, Carl. Exactly.
Although I was talking to you about it earlier, and you weren't very sympathetic about a lot of young people who have perhaps gone to crack or smack. Didn't you describe it as their own fault?
Sometimes it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I could have turned to it where I grew up, but I said, well, don't want to do that, it's not good for you.
Sure.
And I avoided it.
You turned to ghosts.
So you've got no sympathy for anyone who's a drug addict? It's her own fault, is your...
It depends, doesn't it?
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You can be an addict if, I don't know, something, I'm trying to think of a nice way that you might...
Well, most people start on stuff like that because something really traumatic's happened to them. Very few people go out for a laugh one night and go, let's all try it.
Sure.
So, you know, but, yeah.
Just say no, I suppose is the
Just say
attitude
no,
in the end.
listen to the cast of Grange Hill.
Now, this will scare you. Now, Carl, you will be a little bit unnerved about this. Have you seen the film Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
You know what happened there? Well, according to the sign here, it says scientists are planning to clone mammoths for a theme park. Look at his face, look at that, he looks like a dog caught in the headlights of a car, he's terrified.
I love Carl.
He sprung to attention
Carl.
there.
Is that the best news you could have?
Man moths.
Right,
yeah, man moths.
I
man
love
moths.
the fact that that's why he was so excited that they bred a man moth. What is this? Yeah, it's a human being that hides in your wardrobe and eats an entire jacket in a day.
Yeah.
What do you mean, man moths? Mammoths. Mammoth, the big hairy cow from the Ice Age. I mean, elephant.
You're not so excited about that, then? You can take or leave bringing back mammoths to life, but a man moth...
A man moth is a different matter. Oh. If we'd have never brought that up, he'd have gone and told someone now, you know, they've bred an half man, half moth.
This is what we mean.
That's how things start.
This is what we mean when you hear these ghost stories.
Are you slightly deaf? Is that it? When you hear these stories, you're slightly deaf. And his head was in the basket, and he went, count how many times I blink.
Carl, is English your first language? Are you actually foreign? Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Should we speak
when we say
slower?
foreign, we mean not of this planet.
Yeah. Should we speak slower? Would that be a help to you?
No, go on. Next
What do you
one.
make of that?
Do you think that's good?
The
Would you think
idea
that's good
of
to bring back mammoths?
prehistoric animals.
These giant elephants.
They're slow, aren't they? It's not as if they're gonna, like, get out and run fast and they can't capture them.
They'd probably be a
like
fence, to be honest, Carl. They'd probably be a fence.
No, but you're asking it as if, like, oh, it could all go wrong, but it couldn't, could it?
Well,
really?
but the point was about Jurassic Park is they thought it wouldn't go wrong. They thought they had it all under control.
well,
And
Have you learned
Dinosaurs.
nothing from Jurassic Park, Carl?
Dinosaurs would say, oh, think about it before you do it. But with a hairy elephant, it's not gonna...
not a concern for you. Would you go along to see him? Would you be interested in that?
If it was in the area.
He's the best. He's great, isn't he? I'd love a queue,
Nothing
right?
impresses
No,
him.
but what I'd like to do is Carl sitting like Yoda in a little cave, and I'd just like to see people like Tony Blair and, you know, Stephen Hawkins in a queue, and they go and say, Carl, got a bit of a problem,
And thinking of cloning a man and a moth. Problem? Not an issue. No, if I'm in the area, I might cruise around and have a look at it. Otherwise, just don't send it near my my clothes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it's just for a second. As the words "man moth" came into your head, how excited were you? I mean, were you both terrified and excited? Just for the moment when you thought that they'd cloned a man and a moth.
I pictured,
what kind of face did he have? Did he have the moth's head, or was it a man's head?
just a little man head.
Right, what was his face? What did it look like?
He just was like, a bit shocked.
Perplexed, yeah.
Yeah,
it was like he'd been grafted onto the body of a moth without his consent.
And when he was asleep.
Yeah, he'd woken up.
He just went in to have a goiter removed, and they said, we've
He
replaced
woke
your
up with
goiter with the body of a giant moth.
Yeah.
Is that alright, Mr. Jenkins?
So he had the head of a little, was it a little boy or a man?
little man.
Right, okay.
And he's just bumping into a lamp.
He's just bumping into a man.
Carl, if you went into hospital, and they'd done something, what's the worst thing they could do, right? What would you rather have done, right? You wake up and you've got, lobster claws for hands.
Right.
You wake up and you've got duck's feet. Or you wake up and you've got one horn coming out of your head.
The worst thing,
Yeah.
probably the horn coming out of my head.
Why?
Get in the way.
That'd be useful, wouldn't it, in fights and stuff? And, for, like, parties, people play
Well, I suppose
quoits.
the lobster claws would also be quite handy there.
Definitely.
Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, spread your love. You enjoying it so far?
Yeah, I suppose so.
First show back?
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's great to be
I'm
back.
just thinking about that money, Rick, to be honest.
I
It's
know,
still playing on my mind.
I know, yeah.
Could we maybe get, like, a sort of telethon type thing going, or a little charity thing, just sort of help me pay
You
for-
can't really ask people to send you money,
Really?
it's technically begging.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, is
Unless
there
you're
any
are you a registered charity?
I suppose not really.
We could probably get you status.
Yeah. But could I pretend to give them something in return? I mean, am I allowed to sell things on the radio?
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
So
Although you probably get in trouble with the authority if you're using it to sort of like to your own. Not like everyone else doesn't.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Free lunches and sponsorship and God knows what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The people that work here, small fry, the scum.
Exactly, the nobodies. Yeah.
Yeah.
But 165 quid it's quite a lot of money. So I mean, if you want to contribute anything, Rick, as I said before, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. No, I would if I felt any responsibility.
Right.
Or cared.
Sure.
But I got there too early, which is annoying. What we should have done, really, was get you your plane and come back, because I'd have had time.
Do you know, I was going to mention it at the time, but I didn't want to, because I knew the answer would be no.
Oh, Karl. Oh, I've had a great time. I've forgotten how good it was just to have a normal just to have a conversation with you. Have you been looking forward to this? He's really down today, isn't he?
He's down, man, isn't he?
Just a bit tired.
But it's interesting, because I said to him, did you enjoy Edinburgh? He spent the week up in Edinburgh, obviously, and he said, well of him, he loved it up there, he's been partying every night, and he actually enjoyed it, and I've never met him when he's actually enjoyed anything before. He's never enjoyed anything, as far as I know, and I'm depressed that we weren't involved.
His paper round.
He loved the paper round, and this is the first time
he was talking about that the other day as well, about, I said to him, that's what he really thinks that paper round he had when he was 14 was the best job he'd ever had. He still thinks it's the best job because he said he was his own boss. Well, no, you weren't. He went, well, I'll get on my bike and think. And he said, I bet if I phoned those people who I delivered the papers to, they'd say it was the best delivery they've ever had. He said, in fact, I bet a lot of them have chucked in the delivery because it went downhill. This is all, he's thinking this as he went along.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Imagine phoning someone up and saying, you don't remember me, but I used to deliver your paper 10 years ago. Was it the best delivery service you've ever had?
No, but if I said, I delivered it 10 years ago, you used to, if you got up at like 6 in the morning, it was there for you.
Yeah.
There's no other paper boy who could guarantee that they'd have that paper when they got out of
if you could earn enough money, would you do a paper round again? If that was your job, but you were being paid enough to make a living from it, is that something you think about? Do you think you'd enjoy it as much nowadays?
Yeah, I reckon I would, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, listen to some music.
Sure.
£1,000 a week, would you do the best?
Yeah.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Is there anyone out there who is willing to test that? Is there anyone who's willing to pay Karl, right, a sum of a grand to take a week off work and deliver papers just for that week?
All day, though? It's all day?
No. I'll get up and the customers will have their paper.
Yeah, but can I tell you what street it is?
No, because...
no, it's the M25.
See...
You are being paid £1,000.
Yeah,
they may ask for a
you
little
got to
bit more.
deliver to the M25. I'll tell you what, let's take the mood down a little bit and play one of the most beautiful songs I've been looking forward to getting back on the road. Just play this, to be honest. It's Jimmy Webb's version of Galveston. Galveston there, by the brilliant Jimmy Webb. Who wrote it?
Who wrote it?
He wrote it.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Brilliant Jimmy Webb, who wrote it?
Yeah.
It was all one sentence.
Yes.
Did I confuse you?
Again, yeah.
With my speech patterns.
It's just using the English language is always helpful, right?
But compared to Karl, I'm Oscar Wilde, aren't I?
I suppose so.
Electric Soft Parade on XFM 104.9. Not long to go on our a triumphant return. I think. I think the papers will be saying, Steve.
Yes.
Karl. I've met Karl a couple of times in our sabbatical, and he said to me once. He said, oysters. So I said, have you ever tried oysters? I don't like them. And I went, I said, oh, it's just a thing about swallowing them whole, you know. He went, well, the reason you have to do that is just they're fatally poisonous. And if you bite into them, they kill you. And I went, well, of course they don't. He went, yeah. I went, well, of course they wouldn't. What if you chewed on it? He said, no. I said, well, so you swallow them whole and they're not poisonous. He went, yeah, see. He said, when you swallow heroin in a Johnny, he says, that doesn't kill you, does it? That was it.
Oh.
And then, about a week later, he went, I was wrong about them. Yeah, I went, well, he said, yeah. And what did you say?
It's if you eat them, and then you have some whiskey.
They turn deadly when whiskey comes into contact with them.
Yeah, when they've had a drink.
They get a bit rowdy in your stomach. They start fighting. They can cause
So what are you saying now? Are you saying you don't believe that?
Am I saying what?
Are you saying you don't believe
Look,
that?
he thinks he's got us here. He thinks he's got us here. Yeah, I don't believe that if you eat an oyster, then drink some whiskey, you die.
You might not die straight away, but you won't feel.
Eventually, 50 years' time.
If you've got to keep on drinking whiskey.
Yeah,
a bottle a day.
50 or 60 years later, he was dead. Yeah. Oyster and a bottle of whiskey a day. Oh, then out of nowhere 40 years later.
Where does this information come from, Carl?
If some doctor called up now,
yeah,
and put you right, would you believe him?
If it wasn't Dr. Fox, yeah.
What about the airy lads growing up with the werewolves and that?
They didn't grow up with werewolves.
Grow up with werewolves.
You've confused about three different
stories. Just a genetic mutation where they were born with very, very hirsute.
There were a couple of kids, yes.
They didn't grow up with wolves, and you can't kill them with a silver bullet. I mean, you're confusing two things.
There were some kids who were very, very hairy, yes.
Yeah.
They're in folklore. There were some kids who grew up with wolves, yes. I don't think the two are connected.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as werewolves, Carl.
You
believe me, I saw a documentary on it on the History Channel. You'd have loved it.
You grew up with a magpie. You know, you don't flap around, do you, and steal people's jewellery.
What was the thing you told me about snails?
Have you ever had any post that looks like it's been opened?
Occasionally, yeah.
Right. Well, what it is, it's not your postman having a
sneaky look.
A sneaky look. Problem is,
right,
slugs.
The problem's slugs.
Slugs at night, they like nipping about and that, and it gets a bit cold. And in London, like in the country, they go into the grass, don't they?
Right.
But in London, it's like, oh, what can we do? And they go in letterboxes.
Slugs go in letterboxes.
Get in letterboxes. It's nice and warm in there, dry and what have you. And
these are homeless slugs, aren't they? The ones that have lost their shell.
When they're in there, they only found out that they love glue. They've been eating the glue off the stamps.
Right.
And people have been getting charged for post because it hasn't had stamps on it. It's like, well, they put a stamp on it. Yeah. It's like slugs have been eating it.
Sure.
And they also eat the glue that's on the actual envelope shutter. And it's a real popular problem, this, that letters are being lost and opened and all that stuff. Yeah. Slugs.
Slugs like stealing postal orders and things and cashing them in and stuff.
Yeah, again, you know, if there's a doctor, if there's a postman.
Yeah.
Well, with us two expert witnesses, a doctor and a postman. So postage is a real problem.
When we see a slug's trail or a snail's trail,
it's glue.
That's the glue they've stolen, is it? That's a little.
I'm not going to say yes to that because I'm not sure.
But we could follow that trail and find them, and they'd have a big sort of
big pile of letters.
Our stamps and
there they are,
like birthday cards from aunts.
Yeah, but £2 notes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Wow.
Slugs.
Wow.
So, oysters and whiskey kill you, and slugs.
Be very careful if you're going to go out this evening, you're thinking of having a whiskey, maybe some oysters, be very, very careful.
Yeah, and if you are going to post a letter, please do not use tasty glue.